What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories. 1 Rupee Chapter 1 Talent Copy System, Bandit King Sig. See Circle Calendar 1510, March, East Blue, a mountain road. Boss Sig, here we come, choke, little ones, get ready, everyone will be killed on the spot, and no one will be left alive. Sig drew his knife. He was about 30 years old, wearing a baggy orange coat with a black cloth belt and a ponytail. Oh! The bandits were excited and took out their weapons one after another, looking towards the end of the mountain road. 3 carriages pulling goods appeared slowly. Leno, don't get cut. If you die, we'll have to find a new chef. Leno forced a smile, which was uglier than crying. This expression dilutes the tense atmosphere of the bandits before the battle. Sig grinned. Leno, for the sake of your good cooking skills, you are allowed to rush to the end. Little ones, kill me. He raised his knife, took the lead, and rushed to the caravan. Kill! 40 or 50 bandits shouted in unison and followed Sig closely. Leno was carrying a broken knife, and deliberately fell to the end, chewing the grass root, the slightly astringent juice, just like his mood. He is a time traveler. He accidentally fell from the building, and for some reason, he came to the pirate world, passed out by the roadside, and was picked up by a boy named Leno. Before he knew more, that night, the Sig bandits broke into the village and robbed property. Leno tried to fight back. Slashed by Sig. He immediately followed his heart, acted a lot, and relied on his cooking skills to join the bandit group as Leno. The reason why the original name is not used is because the original name is too unique. If the bandits pursue it, how will they answer? Do as the Romans do. There are bandits. Don't mess around, fight back. The caravan's guards drew their swords and surrounded the goods to defend against bandits. The two groups fought hand to hand, and someone screamed immediately. A guard had his head split open by Sig, and the blood was splattering, especially bloody. As expected of a bandit leader with a bounty of 6 million, he was 2 levels stronger than these guards. With the boss taking the lead, the bandits became imposing and disrupted the guard formation. Then spread out, in 2s and 3s, with more and less. Leno, who had been lagging behind, looked around, and he caught a glimpse of 3 bandits cornering the wounded guard. Let me do it, Leno screamed, and rushed towards the guard with a broken knife in his hand. It's a pity that the 3 bandits stabbed the guard to death without giving him a chance to grab the head. Leno was speechless for a moment. He glanced at his panel. Open black lens bracket hostname. Leno close black lens bracket. After change, open black lens bracket real age. 17 years old close black lens bracket. Existing talent. Smart tongue, strength evaluation. Veteran chicken, going to sea will die, even cannon fodder is unqualified. As one of the time travelers, there are naturally benefits. First of all, Leno's age is 10 years younger than before time traveling. He is only 17 years old now, and his physical fitness has also improved, reaching the level of ordinary people in the pirate world. Whatever you want, let's lift 200 caddies. Secondly, a talent copy system was obtained. The system is described below. First, the conditions for talent duplication require the host to fight the person with the talent for no less than 10 seconds. Not everyone is gifted. Second, a person's talent can only be copied once. If there are multiple talents, they will choose randomly if they lose, and choose independently if they win. Third, the host can obtain the same or similar talents. The effects can be superimposed, and can be integrated into higher level talents. Fourth, the talent levels are SSS, SS, S, A, B, C, D, E. In addition to detailed instructions, this system also thoughtfully gave a novice gift package, the lingua franca of Pirate World. Thanks to this gift bag, he was not stabbed to death by bandits because of a language barrier. And this smart tongue, talent, a liar from the village. Let Leno successfully persuade the bandit not to kill him. Slick tongue, D. You can control the speed of speech freely and make a convincing voice. This talent is actually very useful, and the mouth is invincible. But it can't improve the frontal combat power. In the world of pirates, the strong prey on the weak and the strong respect. How can we do without positive combat power? Leno pondered how to gain benefits from this battle. He suddenly felt a warning sign. From the corner of my eye, I saw a figure rushing towards me. It was a tall and sturdy middle-aged man holding a 2-handed sword, his round eyes spouted flames. Bandit, go to hell. Just as Leno was about to retire, he found out that the other bandits were all watching. These guys. Leno knew that if he wanted to survive in the bandit group, he had to show his value, even if he was a cook. If you are weak, you will only be bullied. He gritted his teeth and fought hard. Before crossing, he had practiced Sonda for 3 years, and after going through the chaos of the previous 2 days, he already had a kind of awareness in his heart. He is calm in times of danger, and his opponent is not invincible. He calmly watched the 2-handed sword slashing down, creating a biting sword wind. Critical moment. Leno dodged in embarrassment, avoiding the long sword. Taking advantage of the moment when the opponent's sword move was exhausted and split the earth and rocks, he leaned forward, saw the opportunity, and kicked. This kick was very tricky, vicious, and powerful. Boom. It seemed that something cracked. The tall and middle-aged man was completely unprepared for this kind of trick, his face instantly flushed, distorted, and his eyes seemed to pop out. He was in too much pain to make a sound. Throwing away the sword, he covered his hands and bowed to his feet. The bandits on the sidelines subconsciously covered their crotches and took a breath. Leno was ruthless, striding forward, the sharpened tetanus blade pierced the opponent's heart without hesitation. The screams were ear-piercing. Hoo-hoo! Leno pulled out the knife and let the hot blood splash on his face. The strong man fell to the ground unwillingly. What? Leno didn't feel uncomfortable, but felt extremely exhilarated, roaring with blood racing, venting the hesitation of the past 2 days. This scene changed the eyes of the bandits around them, with less contempt and more recognition. Including the thief King Sieg, they all looked at him more. Status is earned. Open black lens bracket ding. You defeated your opponent and scanned for talent. Big Eater, Class C. Open black lens bracket successfully copy talent close black lens bracket, talent introduction. You will have an appetite, digestion ability, and nutrient absorption ability that far exceed ordinary people. A new talent appears on the panel. Leno was depressed. Another non-combat talent, but he soon discovered the benefits of this talent. The nutrition provided by the big appetite has significantly improved his basic qualities such as physical recovery and wound self-healing. This talent is very useful. His young body began to develop and grow again. Height, weight, strength, agility, etc., all-round improvement. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 2 The Red Hair Pirates of Windmill 3 days later, Seeger resold the looted goods to underground merchants. He assigned Pele according to status and contribution. Everyone got their fair share, including Leno. He got 10,000 Baileys. Because he killed a man alone. Those underground merchants are too dark. They can usually sell nearly 10 million Bailey's goods, but they only give us 1 million. Some bandits complained. They are the bandits. Scolding is scolding. With money, the bandits couldn't sit still. Robbery lives, money comes and goes faster. Little ones, go drink. Sig was elated. Oh, the bandits responded one after another. Leno has just joined, so he has no right to speak, so he can only try his best to blend in. Develop first, then find a chance to leave. Leno weighed down. Talented at duplicating the system, he is looking forward to the future. Soon, they came to a small town with a tall windmill. Boss Sig, I heard that a group of pirates came to Windmill Town last year, so be careful. Seeger took a new reward list, and his reward increased again. He laughed. Pirate, what are you afraid of? This is land. I'm a big bandit with a bounty of 8 million. Bounty, for lawbreakers like them, is a symbol of status and strength. Because of Garp, I go back to East Blue from time to time. It's like going back to Novice Village with a full-level boss. Go back and pack a batch. This makes East Blue's pirates generally weaker. Instead, the bandits of East Blue are more famous. Then compare it with the bounty offered by the pirates encountered in East Blue after Luffy went to sea. Alvida, 5 million Pele. Catman Brothers, 7 million Baileys. Buggy, 15 million Baileys. Crick, 17 million Pele. It can be seen that the current Sig can get a reward of 8 million, which is already quite impressive. If he hadn't been killed, 10 years later, there's a reward of 20 million, isn't it too much? Seeger's bounty rises, and all the bandits are honored. That's right, Boss Sig, the man who wants to become the Bandit King. Mere pirates, come to land, cut whatever you want. Long live Boss Sig. The smoothness of the last order made everyone in the bandit group drift, and each one was better than the other. No bragging, he is the boss. Sig laughed, rather smugly. Leno observed the town from the corner of his eye. Following their arrival, the residents of the town quickly went home and closed the doors and windows. He also noticed that there was a pirate ship with a flag at the pier of the town. 2 knives crossed upwards, passing through a skull, and there were 3 long and narrow scars over the left eye. One of the future 4 emperors, red hair pirates. Leno is quite familiar with this plot. Seeger's god-tier famous scene, about to be born. Dry 4 emperors with beer in hand, step on the future One Piece, ask Lousy who am I, East Blue Sig Pirate King. I'm going, inexplicably passionate. Thinking that he would be a participant, Leno was full of expectations. Wait. Leno glanced at talent copy system. An idea came to mind. If it was me who beat Shanks and Luffy, can their talents be replicated? Future 4 emperors, One Piece. Talent must be stronger than miscellaneous fish. And with my current situation, if I don't seize this opportunity, I want to get in touch with them so closely in the future. Difficult. As for what to say, join the Red Hair Pirates. With his current strength, the chance is 0. Don't think Shanks is easy to talk to. Which one of the crew members he selected is not a carefully selected potential new star with similar personalities and similar ambitions? I am only a small guy in the Sig Bandits, would Shanks care? Even if you were really appreciated by Shanks and let yourself on board, would you be willing? How can a real man live in heaven and earth for a long time in depression? Leno's eyes became firm. Done. 10,000 years of immortals, 10,000 years. Look, ahead, the tavern. Leno looks up. Makino's tavern appeared 100 meters away, with a windmill on the roof, spinning. Inside the tavern, members of the Red Hair Pirates, Beckman, Usopp and others, are happily singing, drinking and eating meat. In front of the bar, Makino wiped his glass. Shanks and Little Luffy sat side by side, tearing at chunks of flesh. Shanks. What are you doing? How long will you stay here? Shanks put down his spoon, thought for a while, and said, "It's been more than a year since I took this small town as my base camp. After 2 or 3 more trips to sea, I plan to leave here and go north." Oh, with his mouth full of meat, Little Luffy muttered, 2 or 3 more times? Makino, who pricked up his ears, sighed slightly. Luffy doesn't know what's going on with Shanks, she does know some. Little Luffy wolfed down the meat and smiled brightly. In time, I will learn to swim. It turned out that just now, Luffy threatened to cut himself, hoping that Shanks would take him out to sea. But Shanks rejected Luffy because he couldn't swim. Naturally, Luffy was not happy and made up his mind to learn to swim. Shanks smiled and encouraged, "Very good, come on." Boom. Suddenly, a loud bang came from the door. Beckman, smoking a cigarette, turned his head. Everyone looked around. "Excuse me." Seeger stood outside the kicked-open door and walked forward. He glanced at the quiet tavern, and let out a contemptuous laugh. "Hey, is this a pirate? It's the first time I saw it, it looks so stupid." Chef Lackey Lou was gnawing on the meat, and everyone else was doing their own thing, paying attention but not paying much attention. Leno looked at them from the corner of his eye, and found something in their eyes, similar to the eyes of humans when they see interesting ants. He thought to himself, these guys don't take us seriously. That's right. At this time, Shanks already has a bounty of more than 1 billion, and even his crew is extraordinary. Thinking about what to do soon, Leno sweated. Sig came to the bar. He stood beside Shanks, clapped his palms, and said to Makino, "We are bandits, but we are not here to rob. We want to buy 10 barrels of wine." Makino was sweating on his brow, and said, "I'm so sorry, the wine just happened to be sold out." Oh, Seeger squinted his eyes, glanced at the bottles of wine on Beckman's wine table. His face was full of displeasure, and he was about to criticize. "Huh? Sold out? Those pirates, what are you drinking?" Seeger turned his head and looked at the person who robbed him. It turned out to be Leno. Sig frowned, but said nothing. He is quite satisfied with this newcomer who adapts very quickly, speaks nicely, and can cook. At this time, if a younger brother came out to speak out, he could better maintain the majesty of the boss. The other subordinates don't have Leno's vision. Leno took a big step, stood in front of the bar, slapped the table angrily, and said, "Are they drinking water? You don't just have these bars." Leno glared at Makino with a vicious look, as if Makino was going to strike without an explanation. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 3. A wine bottle turned over Shanks. My boss killed 56 of them. Makino bar. Leno successfully steals the show. The Thief King Sieg was watching the show. He won't know what he missed, seeing that Makino was embarrassed. Shanks turned his head to clear her. "Little brother, I'm so sorry, we seem to have drunk all the wine here, sorry." Shanks picked up his remaining wine and said, "If you don't mind, there's still 1 bottle left." Coming, Leno, who had been preparing for a long time, grabbed the wine bottle with quick hands and eyes. Then, boom. The wine bottle shattered on top of Shanks' head, splashing glass shards, startling Luffy behind him. Sig and the bandits looked surprised. Pirates such as Beckman and Laji Lu cast stern eyes. Makino couldn't help covering his mouth, the atmosphere of the tavern. All of a sudden, it was extremely quiet and freezing cold. "Leno, I'm so nervous." However, a kind of indescribable joy and excitement rose in his heart, and his whole body was filled with one word, cool. He glared at Shanks and yelled, "Who do you think we are? Who is enough for a bottle of wine? Don't underestimate us." The corner of Seeger's mouth curled into a smile, and he admired Leno more and more. This kid really suits his appetite. Drinks trickled down Shanks' straw hat. Drenched hair, slid down cheeks, stained shirts, dripped to the floor. Shanks didn't care about this. Instead he looked down and said, "Oh, the floor is soaked." With his heart and spirit, he would not care about a group of ants. Also, this is Makino's bar. The origin of this group is unknown. Get rid of them, no problem. But what if there are accomplices? Will it cause trouble for Makino if he leaves alone? Leno was silent for dozens of times. The system has not prompted yet. I had no choice but to grab the reward list and send it to Shanks. Hey, look clearly, the head of our boss Sig is worth 8 million Baileys, and he is the most wanted man. He once, but killed 56, a guy like you who has no one in sight. After you see clearly, you have to be careful in the future. Leno's loud warning, ostentatious tone made Seeger very satisfied with him. Boy, you are very promising, blow yourself up, how can it compare to others boasting about themselves? FK, Leno, I thought he was honest, but I didn't expect. Damn it, he's like this, my #1 seed blows, and I can't guarantee it at the end of the festival. Cunning Leno. The thieves were dumbfounded, how can they still do this when flattering? I have learned a lot. No, you can't let Leno show off by himself. All the bandits quickly followed. Hey, Leno is right, our boss is the man who is going to be the bandit king. Originally, mountains and seas are two different things. In the flattery of the bandits, Seeger's vanity was greatly satisfied. But Shanks turned a deaf ear. He and these people are people from two worlds. To say one more word is an insult to oneself. He knelt down and picked up a piece of broken glass. Excuse me, Makino, do you have a rag? Oh, no need, I'll clean it up. Faced with Shanks' indifference, Sig's smile fades away, and he puts his hand on the handle of the knife. But before he draws his sword, a flash of knife flashed past his eyes, swept across the bar counter, and swept all the plates on the floor. Shanks shielded his hat with one hand and let the plate fall on him, falling to the floor in a mess. You like cleaning so much, this will make you happier? Leno sneered. He was holding the knife, but his back felt a chill, and he could clearly feel that the temperature in the tavern was dropping. The people of the Red Hair Pirates seemed to be reaching the limit of their endurance. Humans don't care about ants, jumping around in front of their eyes, but if they bite themselves twice, will they not care? He shook his head and said to Sig, Boss, these people are really boring. There's no more wine here. Change to another one? Seeger has watched enough dramas and earned enough face, so he has nothing to do. They didn't come to fight today, but to have fun. Goodbye. A bunch of cowards, no wine, shameless, go to another town. A group of bandits walked out of the tavern, laughing and laughing. The moment you step out the door, Leno is like leaving the gate of hell. The palms holding the knife tightly were full of sweat. He took a long breath, it's worth it to beat Shanks in this way. Although he wanted to punch Luffy again, but in the situation just now, if he really hit him, he probably wouldn't be able to walk out. For this matter, we can only wait for Shanks and the others to leave Windmill Town before making plans. Open black lens bracket ding. You took advantage of your opponent and scanned for a talent. Conqueror's Haki, grade A. Open black lens bracket successfully copy talent close black lens bracket, talent introduction. Your potential, the qualifications of a king, your courage and will determine your strength. Close black lens bracket. The system's notification sound is like the sound of nature. Conqueror's Haki? Unexpectedly, this talent was drawn. Leno was excited. This is a symbol of strength. Earn, too much. Leno looked up at the bandits who were rampant. With Conqueror's Haki, he had the idea of breaking away from the Sig bandits. Inside the tavern, Captain, are you okay? Are you hurt? Shanks waved his hand so that Makino didn't have to help himself, and said, No, I'm fine. Call. He exhales. Ha 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 ha, the captain is so embarrassed. It's so miserable to be bullied. Laji Lu waited for the crew to see him like this, and suddenly burst out laughing. Ha 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 ha. Shanks, who took off his straw hat, laughed along. Suddenly, Luffy clenched his fists and shouted, What are you laughing at? Okay. It's too embarrassing, why don't you beat them? Even if they have a large number of people, people who can still laugh when they are bullied are not men at all, nor are they pirates. Luffy was rather annoyed. Shanks was surprised, this kid. He put on the straw hat and said, I understand how you feel, but you just got a little drink, don't you need to be angry? Luffy didn't understand, he turned around angrily. HMPH, I don't want to see you coward again. Hey, don't go. Luffy. Shanks grabbed Luffy's arm, and then, to his surprise, Luffy walked farther and farther away, and the arm was getting longer and longer. Okay. What? Hands stretched. Shanks and his friends were stunned. Luffy also noticed the problem. Why is this happening? He was pulled back to Shanks by the elastic force of his arm. Laji Lu nervously opened the treasure chest on the open bar. His eyes widened. It's gone. What? The partners exclaimed. Rubber fruit snatched from the enemy ship. Laji Lu hurriedly took out the album and pointed it to Luffy. Luffy, have you eaten this kind of thing? Above that is a picture of rubber fruit. The back of Luffy's head was sweating. Yes, that's dessert, right? But it's not delicious. Eat? Shanks was speechless, grabbed Luffy, and said, Rubber fruit, also known as devil fruit, is a treasure in the ocean. Whoever eats him will turn into a rubber man, and he will never be able to swim for the rest of his life. What? No way. Luffy's mouth fell open in shock. Shanks didn't know what to say. He shook his head dumbfoundingly. Idiot. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge. Activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 4 Shanks A-Level Talent, The Power of Conqueror's Haki. Junior Hao Si Deng Bao Da Kang Ju Dian Rakuten Travel HK, 553 Hong Kong dollars Rakuten Travel. Ri Ben Xing Ne Ling Xian Wang Sheng Lu Sheng Shi. In the mountains. A hidden valley. Burning bonfires, camps with wooden houses and tents, and noisy laughter. Seeger held the wine bottle, patted Leno on the shoulder, grinned and said, "Leno, you did a good job today." His nose was red and his steps were staggering. It was obvious that he had drunk a lot. "You are already a qualified bandit. Come on, little ones, have a drink for Leno." Drink. All the bandits raised their glasses one after another. Leno followed suit, took a sip seemingly heroically, but didn't drink it down, letting the wine flow out of the corner of his mouth. He's already copied Shanks Conqueror's hockey talent, so it doesn't make much sense to stay with Sieg Bandit. In addition, with the arrogance of this group of people. As long as he's still around, he'll definitely be fighting the Red Hair Pirates, and Shanks will keep his hand by then. So, he was ready to run. Leno calmed down and blended into the celebration. Drunk. The thieves began to dance around the bonfire, and the barbecue on the shelf exuded a tempting aroma. In Leno's peripheral vision, built in the outpost in the crown of the tree, Barry, the cadre in charge of the outpost, is looking here, eager. Leno glanced at Sig again. He and a dozen bandits gathered on the long table outside the wooden house to gamble. These bandits are the backbone of the bandit group. Every time you rob, you get the most money. Tonight is the best chance to get rid of the Sig bandits. Leno opens the system interface. Open black lens bracket host name. Leno close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket real age. 17 years old close black lens bracket. Existing talents. Smart tongue, big eater, conqueror's hockey. Strength evaluation. You are still a rookie, but you have the posture of a king. Hang on, boy, the future is yours. Leno squinted slightly. He could feel that there was an inexplicable and unknown power in his body. As long as he wants to, he can release that power, but he can't control it. Leno took a sip of his drink. He got up and took the wine bottle, and climbed up to the sentry tower in the canopy. "Leno, what are you doing here?" "Hey, brother Barry, I'll help you keep watch. In exchange, how about you teach me how to throw dice?" "Stinky boy, do you know how to keep watch?" "Why not? Besides, who can find here?" "Then, you can keep an eye on it, do not worry." It's only been 5 days since Leno joined the bandits, but he has already kept in mind the people who need attention. Barry's strength can rank among the top 5, and he is one of the people Seeger trusts most. But there are obvious weaknesses. He is addicted to alcohol, gambling, and greedy for petty gains. He naturally wanted to participate in the current excitement, but it was his turn to watch tonight. Wouldn't you be happy if someone took his place? Although Leno is a newcomer, his performance in the past few days, killing and beating people, has already won their trust. Besides bandits, there is no discipline at all. Barry excitedly descended the tree, grabbed a bottle of wine, and joined the gaming table. Leno was on the tree, seeing what Sig had said to him. The cadre at the same table glanced at him twice. Leno stood dutifully. "This guy is a bandit." Barry made a comment, and pulled Sig and the others to place a bet. Leno looked at the wooden house, and there were gold and jewels that were robbed by the bandits and were not released and were easy to preserve. He's been in it once, and it's estimated at 100 million Baileys. "Since we are leaving, how can I do it without some travel expenses?" Leno waited for about half an hour, exhaled, and stretched out his hand to pull the big warning bell. What happened? The bell rang, making the bandits confused. Leno shouted, "Enemy attack, I saw the enemy, ah!" He screamed, seemed to be attacked, and fell. "Leno? Is there an enemy?" The lively camp suddenly panicked. Leno at the watchtower stared, and in the next moment, an invisible threat spread around him. Call. The world is silent, and the leaves and sparks seem to be forbidden, completely suppressed by a mysterious force. The bandits in the camp suddenly lost consciousness, deprived of the power to think, and fell into a fainting field. Plop. A bandit fell. This seemed to cause a chain reaction. One after another, the bandits fell down. "Hey, you." Seeger saw his younger brothers fall down one after another, feeling the inexplicable terror, sweating profusely. He supported the table with his hands, and vaguely saw someone approaching. He didn't see who it was, and slid under the table. "This thing is really useful," Leno marveled. Conqueror's hockey. King's qualifications. People who own Conqueror's hockey can intimidate, deter, and stun enemies by relying on their own spirit, without making a move. It can also stun opponents who are much weaker than itself. But if it is not well controlled, it will implicate the people around. On the contrary, if hockey reaches the upper level, it can achieve a coercive effect or cause substantial damage. Leno hasn't trained yet, but his Conqueror's hockey, derived from Shanks, has an A-level strength, definitely surpassing those who have just awakened. The current Shanks are not the future 4 emperors, and their strength cannot reach the top. If a few years later, it must be SSS class. The whole camp was quiet. Hockey, it will be consumed. Physical strength and energy cannot keep up, but it is a burden. Leno wiped his sweat, feeling tired. He grabbed the piece of meat on the table and stuffed it into his mouth. Open black lens bracket big eater close black lens bracket the talent activates. Food makes his physical strength and energy recover faster. Hurry up, lest the bandits wake up. Leno found the key from Sig and opened the lock of the wooden house. The cabin was dark. Leno lit the torch, went to the back room, pulled out the treasure box from the hidden compartment under the bed, and opened a box full of gold ornaments and jewelry. He laughed and whistled. He pulled the tablecloth, wrapped the treasure box, and was about to leave when he suddenly saw a bigger box in the corner. Sig is a good guy, Leno babbled. He opened the big box. There was no gold, silver or jewelry in it, only some sundries. Leno picked up a dusty book in the box. K-Rog's logbook? Curious, Leno opened it and found that it was a sailing diary of an adventurer named K-Rog. He is from the kingdom of Oikot, an adventurer sent by the royal family. He was caught in a storm on the way to the Grand Line. Leno was in the box again and found a chart of East Blue. Barry mentioned that they once killed a group of pirates and robbed a lot of things. This is probably at that time. If you want to go to sea, nautical charts and logbooks are very important things. Good luck. Leno wrapped these two items, put them on his body, carried the treasure chest on his back, held the torch in one hand, and the knife in the other. As soon as he came outside, he felt a warning sign in his heart. Almost instinctively, he raised the saber up to block the sudden slash, and the huge force shook him back. Despicable fellow. Leno was surprised. Sig, you woke up. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge. Activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 5 Kill Sig, Copy Talent, Fearless Heart, Night, Bonfire. Bandit Camp. Standing in front of Leno was the Bandit King Sig, with a ferocious face, staring at Leno. His eyes were about to spew out flames. Go to hell, you thief! Seeger was furious and slashed with a knife. Leno was startled. He had seen Sig's strength before, and he hadn't undergone much training, so facing him head-on, his chances of winning were slim. Should have made up the knife just now. Leno was annoyed. He is still too immature to underestimate the Bandit King. Leno jumped back, avoiding Sig's knife, a little puzzled. This is not at Sig's level. Don't run away, see if I don't strip you alive. Sig was furious. Seeing Sig's crooked steps, Leno immediately understood that he drank too much, and now he is relying on willpower to hold on. What are you afraid of? FK him. Leno dodges Sig's downward strike and strikes backhand, forcing Sig to dodge, but he can't dodge the kick. The legacy of Conqueror's Hockey is still there. Coupled with the influence of alcohol, Sig's strength, speed, and reaction were weakened. He fell to the ground, his sense of powerlessness made him sober up, and he said fiercely, Leno, are you going to betray us? Betray? I wanted to blame Shanks, but since you found out? There was a cold light in Leno's eyes. He dropped the treasure chest, grabbed the knife and threw himself at Sig, who fell to the ground. After a while, Leno rode on Sig, stabbed the knife into his heart without hesitation, then turned over and spat out blood. The trapped beast is still fighting. Seeger's dying counterattack cut him with a knife, and his flesh and blood turned out. But Leno wasn't afraid. This life and death struggle, like walking on thin ice, was so exciting that he was a little fascinated. Open black lens bracket ding. You kill your opponent and scan to talent. Fearless Heart, grade B. Open black lens bracket successfully copy talent close black lens bracket, talent introduction. Fearless in heart, so fearless, your courage will make you fearless. Kill Sig, get a new talent, comfortable, it's a pity that it's not a fighting talent. Leno shook his head. He drew out the blood-stained knife, drew a sign of red hair pirates on the ground with blood, and came to the sentry post again, leaving Bloodline behind. Simple arrangement, become red hair pirates, to avenge today, kill Sig, and take Leno away. As for the bandits who wake up, whether they avenge Sig or fall apart, Leno doesn't care anymore. He set the cabin on fire. Then he took the treasure chest, rode a horse, and left in the dark. He didn't kill other bandits. It's not that I don't want to. It's about worrying about someone like Sig, tough-willed, waking up when he kills. He just got Conqueror's Hockey and can't use it anymore. Wrestled with Sig and was wounded. Physical strength and energy are not enough to support him, so let's fight again. In this case, the best policy is to go. Leno's decisive decision saved his life. Just after he left, Barry suddenly opened his eyes. When Leno and Seeger fight, he wakes up, but he didn't stop it. He sat up, stared at the direction Leno was fleeing from, with a flash of apprehension, and then glanced at the dead Sig. Hey, now, I'm the boss. It has been a month since he killed the Bandit King Sig and left the bandit group. The sea is blue and the sky is calm. A merchant ship slowly docked at the pier. Hey, Mr. Leno, Shimotsuki village has arrived. The sailor with a loud voice knocked on Leno's door. Sonny. Leno carried his suitcase and set foot on this small pier. The villagers who carried the goods cast curious eyes. He didn't take it seriously, and looked at the island happily. From the pier, there is a paved road leading into the island. In the distance, there are undulating mountains and forests. The birds are tired of the forest, the tigers are screaming and the monkeys are singing, and they are lush. There is also faint smoke, curling up. There is the village of Shimotsuki. It is also the goal of his trip. He dealt with some of the jewels in the kingdom of Goa, traveled to 7 or 8 islands, and finally came here. Zoro, don't just rely on strength, feel with your heart. One Heart Dojo. Shimotsuki Koshiro patiently taught. He was wearing a light gray kimono with his arms folded, and because he wore glasses, he had a quiet temperament. Heart? What's that? Zoro with green algae head, unknown. He holds a bamboo sword in each of his left and right hands, which looks very funny. Now, he has not carried Kuina's dream, and he is using the double knife style. When you grow up, you will understand. Ah, I've grown up again, damn it, I want to grow up right away. Koshiro had a faint smile on his face. He didn't explain it to Zoro. Kendo, like life, needs to be experienced and comprehended by oneself. He now explains. Zoro wouldn't understand either. Father, there's a guy outside, saying he's here to learn Kendo. Kuina stood in the corridor and shouted. When she saw Koshiro, she was giving Zoro a little trouble again, and she couldn't help hiding a bit of envy in her cold and arrogant eyes. Ever since this guy came to the dojo, his father cared more about him than himself. Even if his strength is not as good as his own. However, his progress was really too fast. Kuina thought about what her father said. Girls are not suitable for Kendo, is it true? Do not. Kuina's eyes were firm. Zoro worked hard, and she worked harder than him. To myself, I must prove that girls can also become great swordsmen. Japanese-style courtyard surrounded by high walls. Blue bricks and white tiles, the artistic conception is far away. The spacious hall, which was originally a place for training, was empty at this time. Leno waited quietly. With the talent duplication system, he does not lack potential, but what he lacks is the training to quickly transform potential into combat power. He didn't take away his body and be reborn, but his body and soul came to this world together. Even getting younger. Physical fitness is also gradually on par with ordinary people in Pirate World. However, this is far from enough. There are too many perverts in One Piece world. How to make up for the deficiency? Train. With the help of talent, carry out systematic learning and training, and gradually catch up with the footsteps of genius. As for the entire East Blue, Yixin Dojo is the most suitable place he can think of. Footsteps came. Leno turned his head. A literary uncle with glasses and ponytails walked in. Do you want to learn Kendo? His tone was gentle, with a bookish look in his eyebrows and eyes. There is a gentle and elegant atmosphere in every gesture. Yes. Koshiro eyed Leno. There was a smell of blood. This young man has killed people. When Koshiro was young, he went to sea and knew that the eyes and smell of people who killed people were completely different. His eyes under the glasses were squinted. He seemed to be smiling, and he asked kindly, have you been in contact with it before? No. Leno answered honestly. Koshiro didn't ask him about his background or the reason why he came to learn swords. He nodded his chin slightly and came to the shelf where the bamboo sword was placed. He took 2 bamboo swords, handed one to Leno, and said, let me see if your talent is suitable. Young people, it's good to like to learn, I'm afraid you choose the wrong path. He gave a very meaningful warning. Leno took the sword, unbuttoned his suit jacket, moved his shoulders, and said, you can only live if you have a choice. Koshiro was stunned for a moment, then laughed, that's right. He came to the field, sword in both hands, and made a forward lunge, signaling Leno to attack. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge. Activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 6 Shimotsuki Village, Koshiro's S-level talent, Kenshin. One Heart Dojo. An empty indoor training hall. Koshiro stood holding the bamboo sword. The loose clothes set off his figure, which was a little thin. Holding the bamboo sword, Leno came to face him. Don't be nervous, I just want to see your level and talent. Koshiro reminded kindly. Okay. Leno nodded. Be careful, he suddenly shouted, held the sword in both hands, took a step forward, and stabbed directly. He has never practiced Kendo, but he has practiced Sanda, and he has some foundation in his steps. Especially after experiencing life and death in actual combat, he discovered that seemingly useless skills are not without merit. With these footwork foundations, he can flexibly dodge Sig's attack and kill Sig. But these steps, in Koshiro's eyes, are a little immature. He easily used the bamboo sword to push aside the thrust, and at the same time, the bamboo sword slapped on Leno's shoulder. Strangely, although he was beaten, Leno felt no pain. Body relax, you are too tense. Yes. Koshiro took a step back, still in the same posture as before, and motioned for Leno to come again. Leno exhales. Hold the sword again. That move just now, that feeling. He savored Koshiro's counterattack. Koshiro's speed, power, unremarkable. But he accurately intercepted his own attack, making it too late for him to return to defense. Compared to Koshiro's Kendo skills, Sig and other bandits are just a bunch of rough guys. Come on, Leno was happy in his heart. He made a wise choice and was not lost because of the power of the system. If a worker wants to do a good job, he must first sharpen his tools. Luffy, Zoro, Ace, Sabo and many more geniuses. After going out to sea, it can soar into the sky. It is inseparable from 10 years of hard training. The foundation they laid was solid enough to be enlightened in battle and grow rapidly. Let's take a look. Every time Zoro grows up, he recalls Koshiro's teachings when he practiced sword in his childhood. These are nutrients. Robin, Usopp, Sanji et al. The talent is not bad, and he also grows up in the adventure. But why do you feel that you can't reach the height of Luffy and Zoro? The most obvious contrast is between Sanji and Zoro. When the two left East Blue, the gap was not that great. But after the Summit War, Sanji's progress was far inferior to that of Zoro, so he had to get a whole set of equipment in Cake Island. Undeniable. Their foundation is far inferior to that of Zoro and Luffy, and they cannot accumulate knowledge. Not only them, who among those who really stand at the top of pirates has not undergone rigorous special training? Snapped. Snapped. The bamboo swords collided, and Leno attacked one after another, all of which were calmly resolved by Koshiro. The moves he used against bandits were, in Koshiro's eyes, inferior to any random student in the dojo. Snapped. Koshiro suddenly changed his move, the bamboo sword slanted downwards, and the power surged out, and when Leno lost his balance, he threw the bamboo sword away. Leno staggered 2 steps, struggling to stand still. Open black lens bracket ding. You were defeated by your opponent, and the talent was scanned. Jianshin S level. Open black lens bracket successfully copy talent close black lens bracket, talent introduction. A heart of swordsmanship, your swordsmanship talent will increase by 100 times. The system's boost sound was like a thunderbolt. Leno froze for a moment. S-level talent? Better than Shanks Conqueror's Haki? He couldn't believe it, looking at the system panel that only he can see. Open black lens bracket host name, Leno close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket real age, 17 years old close black lens bracket. Existing talents. Clever tongue, big eater, Conqueror's Haki, fearless heart, sword heart. Strength evaluation. You are just a fledgling, but you have the posture of a king, the heart of the sword, and your potential is overwhelming. Just hang on, boy, the future is yours. Not only an extra talent, the evaluation of the system has also changed. Leno's heart was filled with ecstasy. Finally, he waited for a talent that could quickly increase his combat power. About there, Koshiro put down the bamboo sword, looked at the dazed Leno, thought he had been hit, and made an evaluation in his heart. Physical strength, speed, and reaction are average. The pace is acceptable, but it is not used well. As for swordsmanship, you have to learn from the most basic. However, his age. If Leno is only 7 or 8 years old, there is still hope. Koshiro shook his head and said euphemistically, Leno, at your age, it is difficult to achieve 2 good results in kendo. He believed that Leno also realized that he missed the best stage of laying the foundation, let alone outstanding talent. Leno came back to his senses, took a deep breath, and said, I still want to try. Koshiro frowned and persuaded, talent is more important than hard work. The way to seek strength is not only the way of swords. Leno said firmly, I believe that sincerity leads to spirituality, and golden stones form the foundation. This is my tuition fee, please let me stay and practice. He turned and opened the suitcase he had brought. Take out the envelope containing 5 million Baileys and handed to Koshiro. Koshiro stared at Leno. Facing his firm eyes, he suddenly thought of the stubborn Kuina and sighed in his heart. Well, if you want to stay, just stay. Koshiro took Bailey. I will keep the tuition fee for you first. If you regret it within a month, I will refund it in full. Leno smiled broadly. I plan to stay for a year. Koshiro was not optimistic, and said, you stay for a week before talking. By the way, do you have a place to live? No. There is an empty room in the dojo. Do you want to live? I will live and eat in the dojo. Money is not a problem. I can't wait to start training. Leno said. Koshiro had seen a small pile of thick envelopes in Leno's suitcase, estimated to be tens of millions of Baileys. Leno is not the first person who came here to learn swords. As long as you have money, everything is negotiable. Of course, Koshiro is not greedy for money, and most of the children in the village who learn swords with him cannot afford the tuition. But the dojo needs money to survive. So take some rich kids. Koshiro said nothing more. He took Leno to the backyard of the dojo, walked through the corridor, and soon saw Zoro and Kuina practicing swords in the open space. Zoro stopped swinging his sword and said, Teacher. Koshiro said, from today, Leno will live with you. Oh, Zoro looked at Leno curiously. Kuina, you are in charge of teaching Leno the basics of kendo. Yes, father. Kuina nods. Zoro, Kuina, are the most gifted kids in the dojo. Koshiro squinted and smiled. He felt that Leno should be shown the gap between him and a genius, so that he could get rid of the idea as soon as possible. Leno was quite satisfied with this arrangement, and smiled at the two of them. Leno, please take care of me in the future. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 7 Lost Zoro, 3 optional talents. Night. Sparse stars hang in the sky. The sea breeze brings the sound of the waves. After eating, Leno changed into his training clothes, took a bamboo sword, and went outside to watch Zoro and Kuina practice. Bamboo swords split against each other, you come and go. Kuina with one sword style and Zoro with two sword style have become the most common scenery in the dojo. In Leno's eyes, the fierce and exciting fight is like a slow-moving movie, dismantling every move and style, and blending into his consciousness. Janshin talent, play a role. He is like a sponge, absorbing all the nutrition related to swordsmanship and turning it into his own strength. He substitutes himself into Kuina to face Zoro. Substitute himself into Zoro again to face off against Kuina. This state is very strange. Zoro and Kuina's speed, technology, reaction, etc. are almost equal. But in the end, it was the experienced Kuina who came out on top. She was very calm, caught Zoro's flaw, slashed down with her sword, and knocked him into the air. The 1836th time. Zoro struggled to get up, staring with disbelief. He lost again. He gritted his teeth and shouted at Kuina. Damn it, I will definitely beat you. Kuina put away the bamboo sword and said calmly, I'll wait. She turned around, saw Leno beside her, and frowned. Although Koshiro didn't tell her about Leno's situation. But she probably guessed it. Another rich man who wants to learn kendo but has no talent. There are people like this every year. It is possible to stick to it, almost none. Excellent battle. Leno came back to his senses and clapped his hands. The current Zoro and Kuina are definitely better than him. Kuina was a little surprised when he saw that he had changed into his training clothes, and said, Do you want to train? Leno smiled and said, Of course, I'm too far behind. Only by working harder can I catch up. Please teach me, teacher Kuina. Kuina was stunned, a little uncomfortable with this title, and said unnaturally, Just call me Kuina. Leno nodded. Kuina looks aloof, but has a good heart. She reminded. The real way of swordsmanship is boring, tedious, and arduous training that lasts for 10 years. People who can't bear hardships and have no talent will only give up halfway. Leno said. I believe in myself. Kuina was noncommittal. There are too many people like Leno, who made a promise when they first came, and within 2 days they got tired and disappeared in half a month. Zoro, take him to the beach for a few laps first. Kuina said. Zoro glanced at Leno. Leno looked at him too. The two stared at each other. Kendo, physical fitness is very important. I will teach you swordsmanship, steps, and breathing after your physical fitness is qualified. Kuina wanted to test Leno's will first. If she couldn't persist, it would be useless for her to teach anything, and she would have to leave sooner or later. Learning to be half-baked will actually damage the reputation of the dojo. Of course, her reasons are quite good. Without physical fitness, no matter how powerful swordsmanship is, it is useless. This is also something that limits her. She could feel that as Zoro's technique became more and more sophisticated, her own physical strength became short boards. It's getting harder and harder to beat Zoro. Kuina clenched the bamboo sword in her hand. Come to the gate of the dojo. Zoro puts the back of his head in his hands and looks sideways at Leno. Hey, let me say yes first, I won't wait for you, follow me closely, I'm afraid you will lose it. Afraid I lost it. Leno's mouth twitched. Zoro, who gave you the courage to say this? Could it be? Your road idiot attribute has not been activated yet. It shouldn't be. Zoro bowed his waist, bent his knees, sat to warm up, then exhaled and looked towards the sea. Are you ready? Leno nodded. Run. After Zoro's voice fell, he stepped on the ground with his back foot, stepped on a dent, and then sprang out like a fired shell. Leno starts off, only to see dust kicked up by Zoro. Wipe. Is this the pirate world, the strength of top talents? Leno marveled. He came to pirate world for more than a month, acquired the talent of Big Eater, coupled with his continuous training, his physical fitness has improved significantly. His current strength, speed, etc., definitely reach the previous world champion level, and even surpass it. However, this is like a joke in front of Zoro. Young Zoro, is he strong? Watch him train by pulling tons of boulders. You should know how strong his physical fitness is. But in the world of pirates, there are countless monsters physically stronger than him. It's not a reincarnation, what a shame. Leno shook his head, not in a hurry to catch up with Zoro, and kept his own breathing rhythm, running forward step by step. He is not discouraged. Didn't the weak Kebi also follow Luffy's footsteps during the Marine Special Training and gain a new life? If you have a problem with yourself, will you be worse than Kirby? From the ashram to the beach, there is about 3,000 meters of road. When Leno ran 1,000 meters, Zoro is gone. At this time, Zoro is at the beach, right? Leno muttered. When he ran to the beach, the waves lapped the shore under the moonlight, and there was no one there. What about Zoro? Hey, you guy, when did you run ahead of me? Behind, a surprised shout came. Leno turned around. Zoro rushed out of the mountain with a leaf on his forehead. Leno. Really? Zoro didn't know he was lost. When did he run away? Open black lens bracket ding. You defeated your opponent, and scan for talents. Sword Demon A level, Liu Kai E level, Monster Body A level. Leno was surprised when he heard the system beep. Is the race between myself and Zoro considered a battle? If this is a battle, then the scope of the system's judgment has become very wide. Play cards. Play chess. Excuse me. Moreover, winning this time, 3 talents appeared directly, except for the funny talent of Liu Kai. Sword Demon and Monster Body are both A level. Worthy of being a genius. Many people don't have 1 talent, but Zoro has 3 talents before he is 10 years old. However, why is Koshiro's Kenshin S rank and Zoro only A rank? There is also Shanks' Conqueror's Haki, which is only A level and can be developed according to the plot. Shanks' Haki is definitely the top rank. Could it be that? Yes. Age. Everyone's talent is not static, it will appear, grow, or disappear with age. Please host choose one of the 3 talents. Close black lens bracket. The system reminds again. Leno regained his senses and realized that not all of these 3 talents can be obtained, and he can only choose one of them. Only by acquiring talent can one know its effect. It's a bit like opening a blind box. But from the name of the talent, we can make some guesses. Liu Kai, definitely not. Sword Demon should be similar to Jian Shin, or it may be the unique ghost aura on Zoro. Monster Body refers to the physique of Zoro pervert, right? I have Sword Heart and then choose Sword Demon, it's not appropriate. Leno makes a decision. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to host for duplicating Zoro's talent, Monster Body. Close black lens bracket. Talent introduction. With a human body, comparable to a monster, you will be able to break the boundaries of the human body and achieve extraordinariness. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 8 Talent Fusion, S-Class Talent, the King of Gluttony. With a human body, comparable to a monster. Beach. The waves hit the shore, rolling up thousands of piles of snow. After reading the introduction of Monster Body, Leno couldn't help but be ecstatic. Very good. With this talent, the distance between him and the top monsters in the pirate world will no longer be far away. Not long ago, he is still worried that the body from the previous world will not be able to bear it. Now, the problem is solved. Cool. Leno was just about to see what kind of changes Monster Body would bring to him. Open black lens bracket ding. It is detected that the host has similar talents, Monster Body, Fearless Heart, Big Appetite, Smooth Tongue. Is it a fusion? Close black lens bracket. Okay. Leno was surprised when the system beeped again. These 4 are similar talents. It seems to be true. They all belong to the organs of the body, and the body of a monster includes a fearless heart, a big stomach, and a clever tongue. According to the rules of the system, when similar talents are fused, the effects can be superimposed and become a more advanced talent. Monster Body is a rank. Fearless Heart is B rank. Big Stomach King is C rank. Smart Tongue, it's D grade. After the fusion, the 4 talents become an S-level talent. How to choose? Fusion. Leno didn't hesitate. Jian Shin made him realize the power of S-level talent, which is a qualitative improvement compared to A-level talent. A mysterious light glows on the system panel. 4 talents, falling into Uzumaki. In a blink, open black lens bracket ding. The fusion is successful, congratulations to host for getting the talent, Lord of Gluttony S level. Close black lens bracket. Talent introduction. Food will become the source of your strength, your control over the body will increase by 10 times, your boundaries will be unlimited, and you will be fearless. Leno frowned. This talent is very simple and unpretentious. It should be the integration of the 4 talents, and then improve the specific effect. The actual situation needs further research. His system panel has changed. Open black lens bracket host name, Leno close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket real age, 17 years old close black lens bracket. Existing talents. King of Gluttony, Conqueror's Haki, Kenshin. Strength evaluation. You are just a fledgling, but you have the appearance of a demon king, the heart of the sword, unlimited potential, hang on, boy, the future is yours. Interesting. Leno chuckled. At this time, he found 2 little ghost heads looking at him. Zoro, what did you do to him? You smirked for a long time. No, have you become a fool? The silver-haired kid scratched his head. He is the child of Kuina, who is second only to Zoro and Kuina in talent in the dojo, and is also Zoro's friend, Sokka. Zoro crossed his arms, rolled his eyes, and said, huh. Sokka, don't talk nonsense, I didn't do anything. Fool, are you talking about me? Leno looks left and right. There is no one else here but them. It seems that I was in a daze for a while, so I should pay attention next time. Leno coughed lightly. Just as he was about to explain, his stomach made a loud, gurgling, sound out of place. Hunger is surging. He had just eaten dinner, but Leno felt that he could still eat a cow. He realized. This is the talent of Lord of Gluttony, the effect it has on the body. It seems that Big Mom, one of the 4 emperors, is that it. Could it be this is her talent? Zoro, Do you have anything to eat? Zoro with arms crossed, Sakar curious, and Linen stunned. You are an adult, asking a child for food. Because Leno is so hungry. Kuina told me to run 2 laps, but it failed. Hey, didn't he? He already ate a whole cow. The chef of Yixin Dojo was dumbfounded. He can eat better than me. Zoro muttered. He only eats half a barrel for a meal. Damn it, no, I can't lose to him, I want to eat a bucket tomorrow. The steward of the dojo, with sweat on his forehead, gritted his teeth at Koshiro. If you eat like this, you have to pay more for food. Ever since Zoro came to the dojo, the expenses have been going up. How about something more edible than him? Koshiro pushed his glasses, speechless. Leno, who is full, can clearly feel that every cell of his body is extracting nutrients from food. As food the source of strength. Leno shook his fist. Power is filling his body. He stood up. For some reason, he felt that he had grown taller again, and there was a sense of tension in the well-fitting training clothes. Wow, Leno, you ate a whole cow. Come to see the lively Sokka and admire him. I'll eat more than you. Zoro shouted defiantly. The dojo manager suddenly felt pressure. Koshiro, who squinted his eyes, noticed the slight change in Leno, and called him to the next door to ask about the situation. Leno explained that he was sick and had a type of bulimia. Although Koshiro had doubts, he didn't ask too much. Everyone has their own secrets, and it's easy to get angry if you get to the bottom of it. He said a few words of concern and mentioned the issue of food. Leno readily agreed to the request for an increase in food expenses. He desires power more than money. Before dawn, Kuina knocked on the door of Leno's room, and Zoro, who was sprawled all over, was also woken up. Leno walked to the lobby and found that about 20 children and teenagers had already gathered, waiting for Koshiro to come out and start his morning exercises. The first is to run to warm up. Then there is basic swordsmanship, which is the 3 movements of chopping, and stabbing. It was almost dawn after finishing the work, and the literacy class and sword theory class began. Leno doesn't have to go to class. Koshiro asked him to follow Kuina to learn how to hold a knife, body posture, etc., the most basic part of kendo. With Jian Shin's talent, Kuina only needs to teach it once, and Leno can understand it, and can draw inferences about other cases from one instance. In just one morning, he completed the introduction to kendo. Leno, have you really never touched kendo before? Kuina couldn't help asking with strange eyes during lunch. Leno gnawed on the grilled fish, nodded seriously, and said, I just learn things faster. Kuina was depressed. Another guy like Zoro. However, I'm still not as good as you. I have too much to learn. Leno said. Kuina was not very interested, and said, so what? You have a chance to become a swordsman, and I. Can't you? Kuina sighed, poked his rice, and said, Father said, a girl cannot become a swordsman. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 9 Yixinliu, the leader of the Revolutionary Army, the appearance of the dragon. After Kuina finished speaking, she was stunned for a moment, not knowing why she wanted to speak her mind to a person she had just met. It seemed, very relieved, blurted out. Is it because of strangers? However, Leno last night hadn't given her this kind of undefended trust. Really weird. Is it Gluttony King, the fusion effect of slick tongue? Leno also felt Kuina's closeness and affection. He smiled and said, women, there are great swordsmen. Okay. Kuina stared at him in astonishment. Really? Really? The world is so big, full of wonders, female swordsmen are just rare, not non-existent. For example, there are female swordsmen in Marine, and there must be other places. Kuina's eyes glowed. Has been haunting her, negating her words, like a fog shrouded her. Now, she saw a ray of hope penetrating in from outside the fog, and she was full of confidence again. Thank you, Leno. She couldn't be happier. Not far away, Sokka poked Zoro and said, hey, look, is Kuina smiling? Concentrating on cooking, Zoro's eyes widened. The sword is not limited to skills, but also the heart. The unity of the heart and the sword is the flow of the heart. Sword Theory Class. Koshiro personally explained the kendo philosophy of Yixin Dojo to his disciples. It's boring. Most people don't like to listen to the theory of clouds and mountains and mists. The disciples behind the seats had different expressions. Some are in a daze, some doze off. Some scratched their heads and felt like sitting on pins and needles. Koshiro did not insist on this. Everyone's perception is different. The theoretical knowledge he taught was something that most swordsmen would never use in their lifetime. Leno, Kuina, Zoro, and Sokka listened most carefully. It has been 3 months since Leno came to Yixin Dojo. He practices self-discipline every day and trains without distraction. Powerful talent, transformed into immediate combat power. His kendo has made terrifying progress. Koshiro felt incredible. Think of the evaluation of Leno at that time. Koshiro admits that he got it wrong the first time around. As Leno solidified his foundation, he was exposed to sword theory extensively. The advantage of systematic training is that from basics to theory, there is a complete set of advanced directions for reference. Especially Jian Li, it sounds very mysterious, but it is the light that points the way. Yixin Liu's kendo does not overly pursue the improvement of skills, but pays more attention to the cultivation of spiritual level. The moves are external. The strength of the mind is the real strength. Every self-transcendence of Zoro is the awakening of the heart and the improvement of the will, which is the embodiment of one-hearted flow. Leno has the idea of another world, and the sword theory of Yixin Liu. They verify each other, and they have a different comprehension. After the sword theory class, the afternoon is free practice. Everyone adjusts the training method according to their own situation, or find someone to practice in pairs, or practice alone. There are also children who have to help the family with farm work in the afternoon. When Leno got along with them, he learned that most of the people who came to learn kendo were just to practice a few moves for self-defense. More than 50 years ago, the villagers here were often harassed by bandits. Some passing warriors rescued them and built Yixin Dojo to teach villagers how to defend themselves with swordsmanship. This is how Shimotsuki village became famous. Everyone in the village knows the story. In the free practice in the afternoon, there is a repertoire, the duel between Zoro and Kuina. Every time I watch their duel, Leno is increasingly disbelieving that Kuina fell down the stairs and died. Outrageous. A swordsman trained since childhood, even if he falls from a 10-meter high cliff, he can easily land on the ground. Leno took a special look at it. The highest staircase in the dojo is 3 meters above the ground, which is equivalent to the height of a floor. Fall from this height. Ordinary people who know a little bit about protecting themselves will not die, right? Kuina's swordsmanship and gymnastics can win against adults, but will she fall to her death? Leno fell into deep doubt. For the 1970th time, Zoro lost again. Everyone is used to Zoro losing, and when Zoro wins, it will be big news. There are 31 more times. Leno thought to himself. Kuina died shortly after the 2001 time, according to the schedule, in the next month. What happened that day? Boom. Suddenly, there was a thunder, and Leno raised his head, and at some point in the sky on the coast, dark clouds floated. It's thundering. Is a storm coming? Sokka asked. The wind from the sea shook the leaves and brushed against Leno's face. He faintly felt that there was a monster in the dark cloud. Sea reef. An old man sat on a rock and looked into the distance. Under the black clouds, a huge sea ship was slowly approaching. The strong wind mixed with the torrential rain covered the afterglow of the setting sun. Call. A gust of hurricane swept by, blowing the old man's clothes to pieces. Kozaburo. Long time no see. The thick voice is still clearly audible in the waves and strong winds. On the reef, a tall figure in a hood stood abruptly. He comes with the hurricane. He comes with the waves. He appeared with lightning. A ray of lightning illuminated his face under the hood, which was cold and solemn, and the red square tattoo was even more ferocious. He, dragon. Shimotsuki Kozaburo smiled and said, every time you play, you bring a storm. The CP department of the world government has been looking for trouble for us. For the safety of our partners, this is the only way. Monkey D. Dragon said apologetically. Your ability is really useful. Come on, come to the old man, what are you doing? Long looked at the lighthouse not far away, and said, it's nothing, it's a rare trip back to East Blue, to meet old friends. Oh, we came back to investigate the kingdom on the bridge, and it seems that something big happened there, even the celestial dragons were alarmed. Celestial dragons coming to East Blue. Shimotsuki Kozaburo scratched his head and said, the big thing is not good. Wait, you don't want to assassinate celestial dragons, do you? Now is not the time to fight the celestial dragons, we need more freedom fighters. Long said. The celestial dragons are coming, and CPO will follow. You warriors, be careful. Okay. Shimotsuki Kozaburo looked serious. He watched the black clouds, and then sailed into the deep sea, heading towards the kingdom of Goa. Dragon received information that the kingdom of Goa planned to burn down the slums of the kingdom in order to welcome the celestial dragons. He is from the kingdom of Goa. It is clear that if this is true, hundreds of thousands of people must die. He wants to stop it. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 10 Breath of the Sword, Kuina's 3 Talents. The storm that was thought to be coming did not come, but the night came quietly. The children in the village go home separately. People like Zoro and Sokka, who live in the dojo, each find a place to train. Everyone's talent is different, and the speed of entry is even more obvious, so Koshiro's teaching varies from person to person. Under the moonlight, Kuina swung the knife again and again. A full 10,000 times. She just stopped. Sweat wet short hair, skirt. Her hard work is no less than Zoro. She adjusted her breathing and looked at Leno who was sitting beside her. Aren't you training? I'm just training now. Meditation training method. Leno said. Real. Kuina is suspicious. Well, I'm looking for your flaws. Did you find it? Kuina didn't trust Leno and could find her flaws, because every knife she made strictly followed Yi Xinliu's moves. Found it. In Leno's eyes, it is the trajectory of Kuina's every swing of the knife, and these trajectories gradually merge into one knife. Perfect cut. Sword heart talent, giving him a hundredfold increase in the way of the sword, matched with the physique of Gluttony King. He has what it takes to defeat Kuina. Kuina stared. Leno found his flaw. Although she has already seen Leno's talent in Kendo, can he really surpass her in just 3 months? Let's fight, Kuina said. It is good. Leno stood up. He really likes this girl who never gives up and strives to surpass. So, he hopes to help Kuina become stronger by finding her flaws, and inadequacies. The moon is shining brightly. On the field ridge, Kozaburo and Koshiro walked successively. After Kaido occupied Wano-kuni, the world government issued a samurai arrest warrant, and the CP department was the most enthusiastic. If the celestial dragons come to East Blue, the guys from CP0 will definitely follow, but don't let them find out anything. Koshiro couldn't help worrying. He doesn't want the peace of Shimotsuki village to be broken. Okay, I know. Kozaburo rolled up his sleeves and nodded slightly. That, isn't it, Kuina? Kozaburo suddenly stopped. Koshiro looked up. On the edge of the forest, the breeze blows. Leno and Kuina stand facing each other, each holding a bamboo sword. Be careful. Kuina held the sword in both hands and rushed forward. Brush. Sharp chopping, from top to bottom, extremely fast. Faced with this move, one must either block it high or dodge to avoid it. Leno didn't block, didn't dodge. Instead, he lowered his waist slightly, and stabbed the bamboo sword forward, which is very common. What? Kuina's forward figure stopped suddenly. Her eyes widened in disbelief. Why? She exclaimed. Wonderful. Who is he? A look of surprise appeared on Kozaburo's face. Outsiders will definitely wonder why Kuina stopped, but Saburo, Koshiro, and Kuina all know the reason. Leno's seemingly ordinary stab just broke Kuina's attack, and if she went any further, she would definitely be stabbed. In other words, she had to give up chopping. If it was an actual battle, she would already be at a disadvantage. Sounds easy. But this requires the person holding the sword to have extremely high control over timing, strength, angle, speed, etc. Koshiro narrowed his eyes and said, Leno. Oh. Kozaburo became interested, and said, the one you missed. Such an exquisite sword skill, really only learned it for 3 months. Okay. Young people are terrifying. Leno looked as usual. He watched Kuina for 3 months. Was it for nothing? Her every move, every habit, is imprinted into the memory with Jian Shin completely under his control. Not only Kuina, but also Zoro, Sokka and others. It's just not as serious as Kuina. Leno said to Kuina, who was full of disbelief. There was something wrong with your knife-holding posture in your slash just now. What? Change it a little bit, your slash will be faster and more powerful, and my stab will be a flaw instead. Kuina was dumbfounded. I have held the saber posture for several years, right? No, you are starting to enter the developmental period. Your body is growing every day, so your previous habits are no longer applicable. Kuina glared at Leno. How does this guy know that he has entered the puberty period? Kuina's mind was very simple, and she didn't get entangled in it. She asked curiously, then how do you hold it? In this way, let the center of gravity lean forward slightly. Leno demonstrates it himself. Kuina tried it, chopping again. Okay. She was surprised. She clearly felt an inexplicable silkiness. The air that used to be a resistance, at this angle, became a boost, making her knife faster and sharper. Suddenly, she thought of Koshiro's teachings. Listen to your breath with your heart. The breath of oneself, the breath of the sword, the breath of the wind, the breath of all things. She didn't understand it before. But just now, she seemed to hear it. The way she looked at Leno changed, it was very eager. Kuina wasn't offended that Leno saw through her. Leno is not the same as Zoro. His age is older than himself. Then he is more knowledgeable than himself, as it should be. What about Zoro? Smaller than yourself. It's embarrassing to be surpassed by him. It sounds like a double standard, but when you think about it carefully, it makes sense. Being surpassed by someone older than yourself is because you are younger. What is the reason for being surpassed by someone younger than yourself? What else did you find? Please teach me. Kuina saluted seriously. Leno said. It's quite a lot. Leno instructed Kuina to train. Open black lens bracket ding. You defeated your opponent and scanned for talents. 1 heart sword A level, perseverance B level, unyielding B level. Okay. Does this count as defeating the opponent? Well. Kuina asked himself for advice, which was tantamount to admitting defeat, which made sense. She also has 3 talents. Worthy of being able to beat Zoro. Please host choose one of the 3 talents. Close black lens bracket. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 11 Ace, Luffy and Sabo, Leno's rapidly improving strength. 3 talents, which one to choose? Leno didn't hesitate. Select open black lens bracket 1 heart sword close black lens bracket. 2B levels and 1A level, do you even need to think about it? Hesitating for a second is disrespect for A-level talents. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to host for duplicating Kuina's talent, 1 heart sword. Close black lens bracket. Talent introduction. Only by being single-minded can you climb to the top. You can easily abandon distracting thoughts, concentrate, and have nothing else to do. This talent is not bad. Concentration is a rather rare trait. Kuina can achieve achievements far beyond her peers, crushing the equally talented Zoro. It is inseparable from her single heart. Open black lens bracket ding. It is detected that the host has similar talents. Jianshin and Yishinjian, please look for more similar talents, fusion and upgrade. Close black lens bracket. It's not a direct fusion, but other talents are needed. Did they get together? 2. 1 S grade, 1 A grade, and 1 SS grade. How is this possible? It's a pity that a person's talent can only be copied once, and cannot be repeated. Otherwise, keep brushing Koshiro's Jianshin upgrade to SSS level, and pinch it with your hand. Leno concentrated on discussing and communicating with Kuina. After concentrating his attention, he absorbed experience and knowledge faster. He teaches Kuina. In fact, it is also a kind of progress. Kuina is very obsessed with swordsmanship. Kozaburo said. Okay. Koshiro sighed softly. If she wants to be successful, she has to put in more sweat and effort, but I want her to live a carefree life. In the kingdom of Goa, on the edge of Mount Kolpo, there is a secret base with a simple pirate flag flying. Luffy, Ace, Sabo, wearing a top hat, held a water hose, jumped over the fallen giant tree, and shouted at Ace and Luffy under the pirate flag. Oh, Sabo. Luffy waved happily. With a serious face, Ace said to Sabo, Hey, Sabo, the time you came out recently is getting late. Sabo scratched the back of his head and said, I can't help it. I heard that the celestial dragons will come soon, and the investigation in the city will become stricter. Celestial dragons. Okay. Hey, Sabo, Ace, hurry up and start training. I will definitely beat you today. Luffy said triumphantly. What? I thought of a powerful move. Luffy said. Really? Is it your ability? Sabo turned the hose, jumped up and attacked Luffy, and said, Let me try. Ace watched them fight together and watched with folded arms. 3 months ago, after learning that Luffy ate Devil Fruit's Garp, he came back from naval headquarters and beat him up. Worried that he was being misled by Shanks again. Garp sends Luffy to the Dardans. After that, Luffy became Ace's follower. At first, Ace hated Luffy. But under Luffy's offensive, Ace and Sabo finally accepted Luffy, and the three became brothers. These days, the three of them play, frolic, and train together, and have become inseparable friends. The happiest thing is that they all have the same dream. Go to sea and become a pirate captain. Ace, rubber tomahawk. Ace came back to his senses and saw Luffy's legs raised high, elongated like rubber, and slashed down like a battle axe. Hey, seagulls fly by, and under the sun is the youth of teenagers. 1 Heart Dojo. The sound of gobbling, one after another. A high-intensity training in the morning requires a lot of food to replenish physical strength. Hey, Leno, what are you looking at? Sokka held a large piece of meat in his hand and leaned in front of Leno. Newspaper. Leno is in Shimotsuki village, but he has been paying attention to news from all over the world, extracting useful intelligence from it. Because it's East Blue news, the news birds come fast. What does it say? While eating the meat, Leno said, the terminal of the uncertain object in the kingdom of Goa, a fire broke out. The fire in Goa Kingdom is suspected to be caused by the Revolutionary Army. Celestial dragons visited Goa Kingdom and were attacked by a mysterious pirate ship. Today's news is very exciting. Revolutionary Army, pirates, celestial dragons, put together, give people a sense of stormy weather. Sokka turned around and shared the news with his friends, which triggered a small-scale discussion and expressed their opinions. Kingdom of Goa, is it a very remote small country? The leader of the Revolutionary Army, I heard he is from East Blue. Are the celestial dragons coming to East Blue? Big fire. It must have been done by the pirates, those pirates are so hateful. Their opinions are very simple and superficial. It's not their fault either. Lacking external information, most people's thinking is relatively single, let alone a group of unworldly teenagers. Hey, Leno, who do you think did it? Sarkar turned around and asked. Everyone's eyes came together. Although Leno has been in the dojo for a short time, he has already won the respect and love of everyone. First of all, his progress is obvious to all, and his strength is recognized. Secondly, Leno has a special charm that makes people trust him. Then, his thinking and acting, with his maturity, self-discipline and self-confidence, make teenagers feel cool. Finally, Leno will occasionally use the Jianshin talent to help them find their shortcomings and improve their strength. Leno, who was eating fish pieces, smiled and said, I didn't see it with my own eyes, so how do I know who made it? 2. Sokka scratched his head without any hesitation. Leno actually knew the cruel truth behind the fire, but there was no need to tell Sokka and the others. Knowing too much may bring them disaster. Leno checks memory. The cadres of the Revolutionary Army will soon bring the poor rescued by the Goa Kingdom to Shimotsky village to supplement food. Here's an opportunity. The strength and talent of the Revolutionary Army cadres are absolutely formidable. Leno looks at the system panel. Open black lens bracket host name. Leno close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket real age. 17 years old close black lens bracket. Existing talents. King of Gluttony, Conqueror's Hockey, Sword Heart, One Heart Sword. Strength evaluation. Well trained, the strength of Naval Headquarters Lieutenant Colonel, with the appearance of a Devil King, the heart of swordsmanship, unlimited potential, hang on, boy, the future is yours. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 12 The Dragon Comes Again, Showdown. Logia Wind Fruit. Leno's strength evaluation has been greatly improved. From fledgling to the level of Naval Headquarters Lieutenant Colonel. This strength, placed in East Blue, is definitely not weak. The Lieutenant Colonel of the headquarters came to East Blue and raised a level. Isn't it a problem? Such rapid progress has already made Leno a man of the day in the dojo, even more pervert than Zoro. But in Leno's heart, it's not enough. Yixin Dojo, even East Blue, but Novice Village, Grand Line, and New World are his goals. Before entering the Grand Line, this contact between Shimotsky Village and the Revolutionary Army was an opportunity for him to gain stronger power. With the sea breeze blowing, the afterglow of the setting sun shone the sea surface. A small boat, carrying several people, with its sails bulging, split the waves at the speed of an arrow, and came to the lighthouse. A tall figure with a huge face and dressed in performance art knocked on the door of the lighthouse. Kozaburo opened the door, startled by this weird outfit. Mr. Kozaburo, we need your help. Familiar. A deep voice came into my ears. Only then did Kozaburo notice the man in the dark green cloak who was squeezed aside by the plate with a big face. Dragon. Kozaburo frowned and asked. The matter of the Kingdom of Goa. It was made by Goa Kingdom. Long simply told Kozaburo what happened in Goa Kingdom. We saved more than 300 people who will be fighters for freedom. Just to get back to the Grand Line, we're running out of water, food. In addition, there are still some wounded on board and need a batch of medicine. Kozaburo said. I didn't expect such a big thing to happen. People from CP and Marine, all East Blue are looking for you. Well, we can only stay one night, so please, this is the money to buy food and medicine. Long put a bag in front of Kozaburo and bowed down. Please. Ivankov, Lightning, and Kildeo followed suit. You come to me, I will definitely help you with this favor. It's just that it's a coincidence that you came here. There are 2 more big stomach kings in the dojo, and the food reserves may not be enough. Kozaburo was helpless. Since Leno came, the daily food consumption of Yixin Dojo has doubled compared to before. It's not just Leno who eats a lot. Zoro, Sokka, Kuina, and the others, probably stimulated by Leno, have increased their appetites greatly. If it weren't for Leno's money, the dojo would be overwhelmed by them. It's not enough, you guys have to think of a way. Konzaburo said. Thank you. To avoid being discovered, our ship will arrive late at night. Well, when the time comes, use your ability to cover up. I'll go to the Kaido field first and let Shiro get ready. Okay, see you tonight. In a blink of an eye, it was late at night. The sea breeze blows, swaying the branches, and a light rain suddenly falls. Leno, who was sleeping soundly, opened his eyes, and he keenly sensed a monster's breath again. Monsters in the storm. Could it be? Leno stood up. Zoro was sleeping next to him. He kicked back a corner of the quilt, and Leno's movement woke him up too. Hey, what's the matter? Zoro wondered. Leno put on his training clothes, tied his belt, and said, It's nothing, there seems to be some movement, I'll go out and have a look. He picked up the knife from the shelf. The day after he taught Kuina, Koshiro gave him a real knife. It's not a famous knife, but it's a kind of recognition. Only swordsmen are equipped with real swords. I'll go as well. The victorious Zoro turned around, and when he stood up, Leno had already opened the door and rushed into the rain. In the wind and rain, a group of people wore raincoats and approached the dojo. The sound of wind and rain covered their footsteps and whereabouts, and no villagers would come out to walk on rainy nights. If people from CP and Marine find out that they have been to Shimotsky village, it will bring disaster here. Okay. The dragon slowed down and raised his head slightly. What's wrong, dragon? Ivankov turned his head. The dragon's eyes were slightly concentrated, and he saw a figure jumping up the high wall of the dojo, looking at them. Long could feel that the other party's gaze skipped over the others and was only on him. Lock yourself so accurately. Interesting. Who is he? Ivankov was surprised, worried. Long watched the other party jump off the wall, and said in a deep voice, You go in first, he seems to be coming for me. Hula. In the wind and rain, the mountains and fields are silent. Leno sprinted in the rain, his eyes fixed on the tall figure in the dark green cloak. Dragon. Leader of the Revolutionary Army. They really came. Leno was emotional. He has been waiting for a long time, this kind of opportunity cannot be missed. Pirates. Before Leno approached the dragon, he shouted. At the same time, he drew the knife out of its sheath, stepped down, stepped on the ground out of the mud pit, and immediately jumped up, holding the knife in both hands. Brush. The light of the knife was shining, drawing a crescent-like arc, and slashing straight at the opponent. And at this moment, Long also saw the person coming. The training clothes of Yixin Dojo. A disciple of Koshiro. The dragon who was about to strike, the wind blade condensed in his hand dissipated. They came here this time to ask for Yixin Dojo. If they attack the disciples of the dojo, wouldn't it be a blow to the face of Shimotsuki's family? Just now Leno yelled, "Pirate," probably misunderstood, and regarded himself and his party as those pirates. Roger started the era of great pirates, which plunged the world into chaos and war, and more pirates appeared. It is undeniable that there are some pure adventurers who yearn for Roger's will and pursue adventure and freedom. However, more pirates are heinous bastards. There are too many people whose families have been ruined by pirates. Maybe the person in front of him also hates pirates. Many thoughts flashed through Long's mind. He didn't hide. Let the knife hit him on the head. Laugh. The sharp blade cut the dragon's body in half like cutting butter. But Leno's eyes froze, and the dragon that was divided into two halves did not have a trace of blood flowing. Instead, it was replaced by the whirling wind. Wisps and strands of wind surrounded him, making him look like the eye of a storm. Devil fruit. Logia, the wind fruit. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 13. Everything in the world, I can't kill it. One knife flow and countercurrent. Leno was just startled, estimating the time in his mind. 10 seconds. It takes 10 seconds to fight the dragon to replicate his talent. Win, no chance. But even a random talent of the dragon is enough to improve his strength by a level or two, right? Today's dragon is in the prime of life, and his strength is not far from the peak, not far away. He can lead the revolutionary army against the world government, he must be a general or an emperor, right? Without hesitation, Leno made another crosscut. The dragon is divided into 4 halves. At the same time, a gust of wind blew from behind him, and there was an air wave visible to the naked eye, blowing Leno 5 or 6 meters away. So strong. Leno landed on the ground, holding the knife in both hands, and stood in front of him. The swirling wind, passing by the blade, made him almost unable to open his eyes. No wonder the cadres of the Revolutionary Army all wear goggles. If you are blown too much by the wind, you are prone to eye diseases, right? Under the strong air pressure, not to mention making a move, it is the strength to resist the wind, which makes it difficult for Leno to move. This is the fighting power of the world's top powerhouse. Do not. Because of his clothes, Long must have been merciful, but he just forced himself back, and he hasn't really made a move yet. Throw in the towel. Leno counted the time in his mind, and after 10 seconds, he has now surrendered, and he can already copy the talent from the dragon. But, what are you kidding? Leno opened his eyes suddenly. Isn't this the time to test the results of his practice? Okay. The dragon's split body condensed again. He was about to stop the wind, but he felt a stronger fighting spirit. He looked up slightly. The eyes covered under the cloak revealed a look of curiosity, and the wind around him did not decrease but increased. Click. The nearby trees could not stand the strong wind, their leaves fell and their branches broke. The roar of the wind. Roaring in Leno's ear. His body was shaking, and he could only step his feet into the soil. No, this wind is too strong. He saw a big tree uprooted and rolled up into the sky. How to do? If you can cut off his wind, cut it off. A flash of light flashed in Leno's mind. Open black lens bracket sword intent close black lens bracket innate talent, shining slightly, highlighting traces of crimson light, seeping out from Leno's body. In his mind, Koshiro's teachings appeared again and again. Koshiro is indeed a good teacher. Every time he lectures, there are many reasons and profound meanings. At first glance, it seems nothing. But as long as you have accumulated practice and pondered carefully, you will gain something. Many images and knowledge of sword theory turned into a torrent, submerging Leno, and in his eyes, condensed into a knife. He moved. The raging wind is like a raging river. Mighty. And Leno is a fish swimming upstream in a big river. Indomitable. Ah, what? That guy, what's going on? Ivankov was shocked and scared Yan Yi out. The movement of Long and Leno fighting has already attracted them. Hey, isn't it? The captains of the Revolutionary Army all stared wide-eyed, showing expressions of disbelief. Kozaburo, Koshiro, Zoro, Kuina and the others also came to the outside of the dojo, looking at it in surprise. He touched it. Koshiro narrowed his eyes. Kozaburo sighed with a long pipe in his mouth. It's unbelievable, how long has he only been in touch with swordsmanship? Hey, what are you talking about? Zoro doesn't know why. He cut the wind. Kuina said. What? Zoro opened his eyes wide and looked carefully, and he found that Leno, who was against the wind, cut the wind with his blade. This, why? Zoro is confused, can the invisible wind also cut through? Whether it's wind or iron, the true way of the sword must be able to cut off what you want to cut, and cut off what you don't want to cut. Sword. With one heart. Koshiro said slowly. As for Zoro and the others, how much they can comprehend depends on themselves. Brush. Leno's knife swung out, and a crimson sword wave was released from the blade, splitting the wind and attacking the dragon. Everything in the world, I can't cut it. One knife flow, countercurrent. The dragon facing Leno, the flowing crimson aura of Leno's body was reflected in his eyes. Haki. No, not Haki. Long was puzzled and became serious. The wind from the palm swung out and turned into a wind blade slash, colliding with Leno's sword wave in midair. Boom. The frenzied explosion caused the wind to disperse suddenly. Leno's body, shaken by the force of the explosion, flew upside down and fell to the ground. Hey, stop hitting. The figure of Kozaburo flashed between Ryu and Leno. Leno, they're not pirates. Koshiro's voice followed. One Heart Dojo. Brightly lit. Hall. Ryu, Ivankov, Kozaburo, and Koshiro looked at Leno with curious eyes. So shocking. This boy, in only 4 months, has reached the realm of swordsman. Genius. The dragon's eyes were full of appreciation. Possess potential, full of fighting spirit, and dare to swing a knife. Leno, do you want to join our revolutionary army? You need a bigger stage now. If you come with us, I will train you myself. The revolutionary army needs fresh blood. Dragon offers generous conditions. Leno's heart moved. He joined the revolutionary army, followed the dragon, and his strength would definitely have a big leap. But, Leno thought of Kuina. She will die. Leno now has a suspicion that there may be some connection between Kuina's death and the revolutionary army's coming to Shimotsuki village. The kingdom of Goa, the rescue of the people in the fire by the revolutionary army, and the attack on the celestial dragons are not small incidents. The world government will definitely send people to investigate. Could it be that someone has found Shimotsuki village? This is just Leno's guesswork. In any case, he spent several months with Kuina and liked this simple, stubborn girl very much. He hopes to change her fate. When you come to the world of pirates, if you don't do anything, what's the point? Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 14 Appreciation from the Shemale King. Copy the S's level talent. Yufeng. Factor in addition to Kuina. In addition, Leno was not keen on joining the revolutionary army in his heart. There are even some exclusions. Why? Leno didn't know either. Presumably, the revolutionary army is the dragon's revolutionary army. Can he replace the dragon? Impossible. After the Ohara incident, Long led the revolutionary army to struggle, and no matter how hard Leno tried, he could not surpass him. If you want to do it, you must be the first person in history. Even being a pirate captain is better than going to the revolutionary army and working for others, right? Therefore, regardless of the Marine, the revolutionary army, or any other forces, Leno does not want to join. The dignified traveler still needs to work. What a lifelong inferior. Do princes and generals care about each other? Leno makes a decision. Leno looked up, looked directly at Long, and said, I'm sorry. I'm in the dojo, and I still have a lot to learn. I have no plans to go to sea within a year. Kozaburo and Koshiro couldn't help but look at him. Actually, refused. Today's young people, who can bear it when they hear that they can go to sea and go to the Grand Line? Moreover, Leno's words were obviously well thought out. Such a calm expression without arrogance or rashness made the people in the hall feel admiration. Long was stunned for a moment, smiled, and said, well, I hope to hear your name on the Grand Line. Yes, Leno said. Ivankov leaned forward. Oh, so ambitious, Leno boy, the Grand Line isn't East Blue, it's full of monsters. Leno laughed. A monster. I'm looking forward to it. Hee hop, what a surge of masculinity. Leno boy, come to the Grand Line, be sure to come to the kingdom of Kamabaka. He took out a transparent glass ball from his pocket and handed it to Leno. This is the eternal pointer of the Kamabaka kingdom. It must be kept away. You can find us by relying on it. Long glanced at him. It is a very dangerous thing to hand over the permanent pointer of one's own country to a young man you just met. However, Long knew Ivankov's idea was to save a chance to recruit Leno in the future. Into the Grand Line's Leno. Maybe change your mind now. Leno did not refuse, took the permanent pointer, and looked through it curiously. There is a non-moving magnet pointer inside, no matter how he flips it, one end of the pointer will never change. It's amazing. Leno actually wanted to fight Ivankov, but time did not allow them to leave as soon as possible. Every minute the revolutionary army stays, the dojo becomes more dangerous. His fight with the dragon has alarmed the people in the village. Fortunately, Shimotsuki's family has enough prestige here. In the middle of the night, the revolutionary army left with food and medicine, and the winter Grama sailed into the deep sea, circling the wind and rain. The clouds dissipated, and the moonlight was exceptionally clear. This is my father, Kozaburo. Koshiro introduces the old man to Leno. The old man was wearing Wano-kuni costumes, with a high ponytail, holding a tobacco rod made of bamboo roots, and his beard was messy and white. Kozaburo said, "You were right not to enter the Grand Line immediately, the realm of swordsmen, you still have a lot to learn." "Well, yes, there is no limit to learning, and there is no limit to knowledge." Leno nodded modestly. "Jian Hao, just the beginning. Kozaburo, Koshiro, must have a higher level of power." Seeing him like this, Shimotsuki and his son are more and more appreciative. Kozaburang thought of something, and with a thought, he said, "Let me see your knife." Leno drew out his saber and handed it to Kozaburo. His fingertips brushed against the blade. The sharp blade did not hurt him at all. Next moment, the blade was dyed a layer of black, with strands of air entwined, mysterious and dangerous. "Haki." Leno pretended to be surprised, and said, "What is this?" Kozaburo said, "Did you feel a special power when you slashed at the dragon just now?" Leno nodded slightly. "Haki. It is the power you need to master next, and I will train you personally." Kozaburo said. "Haki. Leno doesn't think so, it's more like Zoro's, Ghost Aura, but it's not Ghost Aura. It seems to be released from the Sword Intent talent." While Leno was thinking, Kozaburo briefly introduces 3 kinds of Haki. Armed color, knowledge color, conquerors. There are 3 kinds of Haki, each of which has its own purpose, among which the color of arming and the color of knowledge and knowledge are the powers contained in every human body. As long as you keep training, you can get it. Only conquerors, those who must have the posture of a king, will awaken. Leno raised his head, coughed lightly, and said, "Well, I seem to have awakened conqueror's Haki." Leno knew that Kozaburo was a fierce man who forged Hidao Yi characters and Yanmo. The opponent has to train in person to prove that he values himself. Leno hopes to increase the bargaining chip so that Kozaburo can tailor a knife for himself. What kind of knives, big knives, will be better than tailor-made by famous craftsmen? Kozaburo choked on his words, his eyes widened, and he said, "What? You awakened Conqueror's Haki. What's going on?" Koshiro was also taken aback. Leno told about his life experience and experiences that he had already made up. Growing up in a mountain village, he was suddenly robbed by bandits. In order to survive, he was forced to become a bandit and was bullied and insulted by bandits. Seeing that he was about to be killed by the bandit boss, he awakened Conqueror's Haki, shocked everyone, and killed the opponent instead. He robbed the bandit's treasure and hid in Tibet. I met a swordsman by chance and found out about Yixin Dojo in Shimotsuki village. The story is half true and false, and Leno's words are sincere, so Kozaburo and Koshiro have no doubts. You release Conqueror's Haki to see. Kozaburo said. Leno said. I can't control it well, I will. Hey, let's try again when there is no one around. Koshiro hastily stopped. Joke. Putting Conqueror's Haki in the dojo, most of the people in the village fainted. Kozaburo returned the knife to Leno and said, starting tomorrow, you come to the lighthouse to find me for Haki training. After the revolutionary army left, the ashram returned to tranquility. Leno walked out of the hall with a smile on his lips. Tonight, too profitable. In the duel with the dragon, he realized something and stepped into the realm of the swordsman. It was approved by Kozaburo. Haki's special training will begin. Also, talent from dragons. Just didn't have time to check it out. Leno looked expectantly at the system records. Open black lens bracket ding. You were defeated by your opponent, and the talent was scanned. Yufeng SS level. Open black lens bracket successfully copy talent close black lens bracket. Talent introduction. Unruly wind, always with you, walk against the wind, you will be blessed by the wind. Hiss. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 15 Death is like the wind, always with me. Kuina's mind. SS class. So high intensity. Moreover, isn't this talent the dragon's devil fruit ability? Yufeng. Does it mean that he also obtained part of the power of Fengfeng fruit? Leno's thoughts moved slightly. Activate that royal wind talent. A breeze blew by, blowing up a few fallen leaves. The breeze gradually increased. Worried about alarming others, Leno stopped the experiment. He did gain the ability to control the wind. However, royal wind does not become the wind. Leno cannot be elementalized. But this is already quite powerful, and when it is critical, it will catch the enemy off guard. Leno had a whim. If you combine royal wind with kendo talent, wouldn't it be possible to create a new school of kendo? You marry. Well, why does it feel weird, but it sounds familiar? When Leno pondered, a sentence flashed through his mind. Death is like the wind, always with me. Leno wiped his sweat. No wonder he is familiar, the pirate version of Happy Man. It's not impossible. Leno opens the system panel. Open black lens bracket host name. Leno close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket real age. 17 years old close black lens bracket. Existing talents. King of Gluttony, Conqueror's Haki, Kenshin, Yishinjian, Yufeng. Strength evaluation. Well trained, Comparable to Colonel Naval Headquarters, with the posture of a devil king, the heart of the sword, unlimited potential, fight hard, young man, the unruly wind bless you, the future is yours. With the increase of SS level, Royal Wind talent. His strength evaluation changed accordingly. It's just that Leno has a new understanding of this. Evaluation and real combat power are not necessarily equated. Combat and combat power are two different things. The environment, fighting spirit, etc. will all become key factors in the battle. Also, talent is similar to devil fruit, and it also needs to be developed in order to realize its true potential and advantages. Leno recalled the battle with the dragon, and his fighting spirit under the predicament activated the potential of Jian Shen talent. This is the correct way to open talent. Rather than just piling up talent and improving the rating of talent, it is impossible to fully transform talent into combat power. The same devil fruit, in the hands of geniuses and mediocrities, is two devil fruits. In the sea, there are too many people who bury the power of devil fruit. The same goes for talent. Leno is looking forward to Kozaburo's training. He walked through the corridor, slowed down his pace, and looked at the girl waiting in front of him. Kuina, haven't you slept yet? The moonlight illuminated Kuina's side face. She nodded with complicated eyes. What? Something on your mind? Kuina paused, seemed to be on the verge of speaking, swallowed again, and said, no, I'm going to sleep. She is not a girl who is good at communicating and telling others what is on her mind. Wait, Leno called to stop her. Okay. Leno smiled and said, do you like mountain climbing? Kuina shook her head. Since she was sensible, besides training every day, she still trains. Climbing. She wasn't in the mood. Anyway, it will be dawn soon, how about going to the top of the mountain and watching the sunrise together? Leno sent out an invitation. Watching the sunrise. Seeing the sincere smile on Leno's handsome and sunny face, Kuina hesitated for a few seconds and nodded. Leaving the dojo, the two walked towards the highest mountain on the island. Under the night, the mountains and forests are quiet. Leno and Kuina, walking in tandem. Kuina is at the front and Leno is at the back. Kuina looked serious and worried. Leno is unhurried and leisurely. Neither of them spoke, only the sound of footsteps, stepping on leaves. Hello, Kuina. Suddenly, Leno stopped and called Kuina. Huh, what's wrong? Kuina glanced nervously and found Leno squatting at the root of an old tree, looking down at something. Come and see, Leno yelled. Kuina was worried and hurried over. Follow Leno's gaze. She saw the light of a lantern, illuminating a cicada slowly breaking free from its shell. Cicada. Kuina breathed a sigh of relief. Leno was taken aback, she thought it was an accident. Have you heard the story of the cicada? Leno asked. No, every year, cicadas sing for one summer, but do you know how long they hibernate for this summer? Kuina shook her head. I heard it was 17 years. So long. Kuina was surprised. She squatted down, looking at the tiny cicada struggling to get rid of the insect body, showing endless life. She never imagined that such a cicada had been buried in the dark underground for 17 years. Long years of obscurity. But when it chirps, we know that summer is coming. The cicada breaks free from the shell and spreads its wings. Then there was a beep. Suddenly, cicadas chirped again in the woods, as if they were responding, and then more cicadas chirped, one after another. Leno stood up and said, you see, all your efforts will not be let down. Kuina looked at the cicada fluttering its wings and was touched in her heart. Leno can guess Kuina's mind. Because of his growth, he put pressure on her. Originally, Kuina was the well-deserved #1 talent among the students in the dojo. Even so, he was denied by his father. She wanted to prove it to her father through her own efforts. But after Zoro came, Kuina's position is challenged. She began to doubt herself. The appearance of Leno broke her 3 views. It is inevitable that I have worked so hard for so long, and it is all on the dog. This sense of loss, many students will experience. For example, the first place in junior high school is lost in the crowd in high school. As a child, everyone feels that they are unique, that they will be the one to change the world. But when you grow up and your cognition, pride are shattered by better people, confusion is inevitable. No matter how strong Kuina is, she is still a child with many troubles, and she still has no way to tell others. She needs guidance. The two continued to walk towards the top of the mountain. Perhaps it was Leno's words that touched Kuina, and she said a lot. She actually has many beautiful and happy memories about her father, about her mother, about her childhood, and about kendo. When the two came to the top of the mountain, a ray of sunlight rose from the sea and shone on them. This feeling is wonderful. Refreshed, Leno opened his hands to embrace the sun. It's like climbing a mountain. No matter what you do, just go forward step by step and you will eventually reach the top of the mountain. Kuina tilted her head. Then learn from him. Let yourself bathe in the morning light, those sunshine, shine into the heart, dispel all sorrows. She laughed. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 16 Epiphany. Awaken the potential of mind. body and mind, double color hockey. On the coast of the village of Shimotsky, a lighthouse stands. Crash. The waves rolled in. It slapped on the reef and made a deafening sound. Piles of frothy spray build up to create a rainbow of colors. Breathe. Feel with your heart. The sky, the earth, the sea, rocks, trees, grass, swords, etc. All things have breath. Observation hockey is the power of heart and breath. Kozaburo's teachings are still in my ears. Leno sits on the reef and meditates. He closed his eyes, emptied his mind, and let himself have no thoughts. Then slowly feel and experience. All the voices gradually fade away and fade away. The world became extremely quiet, dark and chaotic, leaving Leno alone. Breathe. He heard it. The sound of his heartbeat. A light appeared in the darkness. Immediately, there was the sound of the sea, the sound of the wind, the sound of trees, the sound of swords. The voices appeared one after another, making the dark world lively, vivid and full of vitality. He sees it. Leno didn't open his eyes. But I can clearly hear and see everything around me. Everything echoes in the heart. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to host, for awakening the talent. Observation hockey. Close black lens bracket. Talent introduction. The potential of the heart can sharpen one's 5 senses, and can detect the breath and emotional changes of surrounding creatures, which can be used to predict and avoid danger. Close black lens bracket. Strength. Grade D. Close black lens bracket. The system prompt made Leno excited. Awakened. He has been trained to get his own talent, not copied. He was happier than copying the talent of the dragon. It can be said that this is the ability he acquired after his own hard work. This is the power of observation hockey. Leno sees the world from a new perspective. But, as soon as he got excited, those voices weakened and began to fade away. Calm. Observation hockey is a power that needs to be calmed down. Leno calmed down. He looked at the system and commented on observation hockey. The potential of the heart. He squinted slightly. Indeed, observation hockey is in Sky Island, and it also has another name, Shinwang. Looking at the pirate world, the existence of Sky Island is undoubtedly a long, glorious and extremely powerful history. They call it the Heart Network. Perhaps, it is a close appellation. Leno was lost in thought. He remembered that in Conqueror's hockey's evaluation, there was a potential of intention. He suddenly thought of the psychology theory of another world. The 3 kinds of hockey can correspond to the triadism of human beings, that is, the unity of body, mind and mind. Conqueror's hockey, Italy. Observation hockey, heart. Armament hockey, body. In university, there is a description. Those who want to cultivate their body must first correct their minds. Those who wish to correct their minds must first be sincere in their minds. Also, in Wang Yangming's biography and Xilu, he also put forward the world view of mind, body, mind, knowledge, and things. The master of the body is the mind, what comes out of the mind is the mind, the body of the mind is knowledge, and the place of the mind is the thing. These, and hockey's practice, are not very appropriate. In an instant, Leno realized. His concept of hockey became clear. These powers, no matter they are called hockey, ghost chi, Shinwang, Wang chi, or so-and-so chi, whatever they are called. In essence, it is the release of the huge potential of one's body, mind and mind. The world, in Leno's eyes, had a veil ripped off. His cognition has been sublimated. What? On the lighthouse. Sitting on a reclining chair, smoking a cigarette, and reading the newspaper, Kozaburo felt an invisible force passing by. He jumped up and looked outside. The turbulent waves, flying seabirds, and the swaying sea breeze, everything came to a momentary stillness. Kozaburo was shocked. He looks out to the coast. Leno, who was meditating on the reef, emitted crimson gas flames from his body, releasing light like a torch. Where the light shines, everything is affected. What kind of hockey is this? Kozaburo was dumbfounded. Vomit. Leno woke up again, lying on the bed on the first floor of the lighthouse, feeling like being hollowed out after motion sickness. Want to vomit, can't vomit. Hey, you boy, you are too messy. Kozaburo cursed and cursed. Hockey is limited. You release hockey like that, you are looking for death. His cursing was full of concern. Leno sneered. He recalled that after seeing through the essence of hockey, he tried to integrate and release the color of knowledge and Conqueror's hockey. Then I didn't control it. Although there are some risks, there are also rewards. Hockey fusion is completely feasible. The 3 kinds of hockey originate from themselves and are the power of one body. Conqueror's hockey, which can produce physical damage, is actually the effect of starting to fuse with armament hockey. In addition, this practice, the strength of my Conqueror's observation hockey has been improved. Not only that, but indirectly stimulated the awakening of armament hockey. Leno opens the system prompt record. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to host for realizing the essence of hockey. Your Conqueror's hockey strength has been upgraded to S rank. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to host for realizing the essence of hockey. Your observation hockey strength has been upgraded to B level. Close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to host for realizing the essence of hockey and awakening talent. Armament hockey. Close black lens bracket. Talent introduction. The potential of the body, indomitable, invincible, can improve one's own defense and attack power. Close black lens bracket. Strength. Grade D. Close black lens bracket. Leno took a deep breath, raised his hand, and focused slightly. Immediately, a trace of crimson air emerged from his hand, wrapped around him, and turned into an iron hand. Kozaburo, who wanted to reprimand Leno to make Leno more considerate, saw this scene, his eyes popped out. What? Woo, armament hockey. Kozaburo was completely dumbfounded. He only taught Leno how to awaken the knowledge color, but he didn't teach the armed color yet. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 17, The King of Gluttony, The Potential of Talent. Save Kuina. Watching Leno's hardened hands wrapped around hockey. Kozaburo confirmed again and again that it is indeed armament hockey. He was shocked. Kozaburo taught knowledge color first, because Leno showed a good perception ability that night with the dragon. Strong perception. It means that the color of knowledge and knowledge is easier to awaken. Although the armed color, observation hockey, is the power that everyone has in his body. However, everyone's physique and talent are different, and the strength and focus of the two hockey will also be different. Some people practice both kinds of hockey, while others specialize in one kind, and practice one of them to ultimate. But whatever, Kozaburo has never seen that someone who has never touched hockey can awaken two kinds of hockey in one day. But now, what's going on? Leno draws inferences from one instance. Is it true that within a day, he awakens knowledgeable and armed colors? Genius. No, this is pervert, monster. In the eyes of Kozaburo, Leno is no longer human. This guy is so talented. If he came to the dojo when he was about 10 years old, what would he achieve now? Admiral, Kozaburo feels sorry for Leno, how much time he wasted and let his talent get dusted. Fine. As always shining gold, Kozaburo was very pleased to see another star rising slowly. Leno only entangled the armed color for 3 seconds. He is too weak now, exhausted physically, mentally. Gululu. His belly, a warning of hunger. Hey, old man, get me a whale, I want to eat. Leno shouted. You bastard. Kozaburo scolded and scolded, went out for a while, and came back with sea kings, an octopus. Bami's body is quite huge. Roasted on a high fire, the aroma is overflowing. Leno's eyes lit up. King of Gluttony, the talent is activated, let's not mention the taste. Anyway, after eating a sea king's, he will be revived with full blood. Kozaburo was deeply suspicious. Do you have the blood of a titan? How can you eat so much? Leno lay on the beach, hiccuped, and said, maybe. He could feel that the food was strengthening his body, especially the flexibility of his body. Eating different foods can improve different physical fitness. Is it the potential of the King of Gluttony? Leno feels that this talent still has a lot to explore. Dazzling. Another half-month has passed. Leno sharpens his sword skills every day. While training hockey, he pays attention to the number of duels between Kuina and Zoro. Since he awakened 2 kinds of hockey on the same day, Kozaburo gave him freedom. In the words of Kozaburo, a true genius needs a free soul. His teachings, on the contrary, will restrict Leno. Of course, he also promised Leno to tailor a knife for him, and even Koshiro was mobilized by him. 2001 times, Kuina beat Zoro. Since climbing the mountain that night, I have seen the sunrise. Kuina's mentality has changed. She no longer puts pressure on herself, she feels relaxed physically and mentally, and becomes more confident and determined. Her kendo has also undergone an evolution. Zoro, who was already approaching, was pulled away by her. In addition, perhaps because Leno intervened and changed the plot, the promised battle between her and Zoro did not appear. Leno's name appears in Zoro in her transcendence list. The butterfly effect begins to appear. Kuina's death, should it change within a few days? Leno tested and tested. There is no way Kuina fell down the stairs and died. Well, there is only one possibility. She was attacked. Who attacked her? Is it someone who came after the Revolutionary Army? This was Leno's previous suspicion. But, it's been a month. The other party hasn't come yet. Leno felt he was going in the wrong direction. He can think of people from Marine and CP who will investigate. As the leader of the Revolutionary Army, Long is able to deal with the world government, calm and resourceful, which is impossible to imagine. If it were me, after leaving Shimotsuki village, there would definitely be some commotion somewhere to cover Shimotsuki village. Dojo people, most likely. If it's someone from the dojo, Kuina won't have any defenses. For example, Summit War Whitebeard was stabbed by his adopted son. Who guards against those close to them? So, who is it? Why? Kuina, as the senior sister in the dojo, looks cold, but actually cares about others, and everyone admires her. It is very difficult to find that person. Leno guessed that Kuina's death might have been an accident. A lot of crime, and no plot. Just happened to happen. 2 days later, Leno's conjecture was confirmed. Because the weather is nice. After Kuina practiced the sword, she thought about drying the books in the bookstore outside and cleaning the library at the same time. Yixin Daochang has collected a lot of books. There are knowledge of various subjects, as well as some novels and newspapers, which are placed on the first floor for disciples to read every week. As for the second floor, few people can go up. What's inside is a matter of opinion. As the eldest lady, Kuina can naturally go in. Here, actually, is where her parents used to live, and since her mother passed away, Koshiro doesn't want to think about things. He locked the door and never stepped in. Kuina took the key and was about to open the door, but found that the lock had been broken. There are thieves. Kuina gripped the broom tightly. She pushed open the door and was about to rush in when the person in front of her stunned her. It was a tense, scruffy man with a dagger in one hand and a wooden box in the other. She opened her mouth to speak. Unexpectedly, the other party rushed out in a panic and unintentionally stabbed the dagger at Kuina. Kuina is totally out of the way. But she froze, seeing that the dagger was about to stab her. Crash. The window was broken, and Leno, who had been watching secretly, made a timely move and kicked the sloppy man away. Boom. There was a hole in the other wall on the second floor, and the sloppy man fell outside. Hi, are you okay? Leno turned around. Kuina woke up like a dream, shook her head and said, No, nothing, why are you here? Leno said, I just passed by. He frowned, a little angry, and said, Why didn't you hide just now? If I don't come, you will die. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 18 Copying the D-level talent. Gambling. Kuina's first trial. That's right. If Leno doesn't shoot, Kuina, caught off guard, will be stabbed and fall down the stairs. This is the cause of her death. Kuina lowered her head as if doing something wrong, and said, I don't know, he is my uncle, I thought. Is it a relative? Leno suddenly realized. No wonder Koshiro would cover up the real cause of Kuina's death. Leno raised his hand, put it on Kuina's head, rubbed it, and said, You still lack the real training of life and death. Kuina's reaction was really normal. She hasn't seen blood yet. Train thousands or tens of thousands of times, and if you don't go to the battlefield, you will always be a recruit. What happened? There was a sound outside. The movement of the library attracted Koshiro. Leno and Kuina went downstairs, told him what happened just now, and then found the sloppy man who was unconscious. Leno's kick was not light. Sloppy men have at least 7 or 8 broken ribs. Koshiro took the opened wooden box, picked up the scattered jewelry, and put them away one by one with a look of nostalgia. That's my mother's relic, Kuina whispered. My uncle is a gambler. He left the village 2 years ago and disappeared. I didn't expect him to come back to the dojo to steal. It's good that you're fine. Leno smiled. He solved a mystery, successfully rescued Kuina and changed her fate, full of sense of accomplishment. Open black lens bracket ding. You defeated your opponent and scanned for talent. Gambling, grade D. Open black lens bracket successfully copy talent close black lens bracket. Talent introduction. Your proficiency in all kinds of gambling-related games will increase by 20%. A system prompt sounds. Gambling. Unexpectedly, this person can also copy a talent. There are no other options, which means that he only has this one talent. But the intensity is too low, right? Only D grade. No wonder he was so sloppy, and he came to steal my sister's relics. He must be a bad gambler. He lost everything and had nowhere to go. A rotten gambler with red eyes, he can do anything. Family ugliness should not be publicized. After Koshiro thanked Leno, he took the sloppy man away. Kuina is very grateful. Cook yourself and cook a meal for Leno. According to her later, the sloppy man wasn't trying to kill her. It was just that I was frightened and wanted to escape, so I made that move. Certainly. This is no reason to forgive. I don't know how Koshiro solved it. Anyway, since that day, Leno hasn't seen that person again. 2 days passed. Koshiro finds Leno. Zoro and Sokka are fighting fiercely. Zoro, don't just use your brute force, use your brains, idiot. Sokka tricks Zoro back. Leno was half mocking, half a reminder. Now he not only trains himself, but also coaches Kuina and Zoro. Open black lens bracket Jian Shin close black lens bracket. The talent allows him to see their weaknesses and inadequacies. Damn it, shut up. Zoro was annoyed, panting, swung 2 bamboo swords, and rushed towards Sokka. Koshiro smiled. Although noisy, but everyone's relationship is quite good. The youth of the teenagers. He sighed in his heart. Leno, come here. Koshiro handed a list to Leno. The above is the material used for forging the knife. My father said that this is your own knife. It would be better to let you participate. There will be a merchant ship passing by tomorrow morning. Go to Glass Ball Island. Go to Weapon Street and find the owner of Muramasa Knives shop. He will help you. Oh yes, bring Kuina. You're right, she needs exercise, would you help her? Leno was surprised. It seems that the near death of Kuina changed Koshiro's mind. Glass Island. It is the birthplace of East Blue pop culture, also known as the Island of Fashion and the Island of Art. The island lives up to its name. Right above the middle of the island is covered with a giant glass bead. The architectural style of the island is also mainly spherical. Residents dress up in avant-garde fashion, hot and bold, and there are people dancing and singing on the street. Bustling streets, well-developed businesses. Leno has an illusion of returning from ancient times to modern times. Shimotsuki Village is an ancient countryside, quiet and distant. Glass Ball Island is a modern city, lively and luxurious. Leno, look, the main store of Dosco I Panda. Kuina points forward. Several flags are waving. The flag is embroidered with a panda standing upright and clenching its fists. There is a row of letters above and below, DOSKOI, and Panda. It is the world trendy brand and popular benchmark sought after by celestial dragons, royal families of various countries, and common people. Dosco I Panda. How hot is it? Clothes supplier designated by celestial dragons. Charlotte Linlin of IWC has a special storage room to place the brand's popular models every season. He also specially raised a rare animal panda who likes sumo wrestling. Its stores are open all over the world. Grand Line, it seems that as long as there are islands, there are always its presence. Even Kuina talked about coming to Glass Ball Island, and must go to its main store for shopping. Her favorite gift is a set of clothes from this brand that her mother bought her for her birthday one year. In the library of the dojo, there are fashion magazines of the brand. This kind of influence is not terrifying. After half a day, Leno and Kuina walked out of the main store of DOSKOIPANDA. They changed their outfits from head to toe. Clothes make a man. Get some help from an in-store fashion consultant. Leno and Kuina have changed drastically. A handsome sunshine. In a cold, a little more cute. Kuina also plans to wait until the day she goes back to bring Kozaburo, Koshiro, and Zoro a set as a gift. Money. Just kidding. Kuina is the eldest lady of the landlord's family, and she never spends money carefully. Standing at the door of the store, Leno opened the map and identified the location below. The streets of Glass Ball Island are named after the goods they mainly sell. The place where the two stand is DOSKOIPANDA Street. The clothes, food, hotels, etc. sold on the whole street are all DOSKOIPANDA products. DOSKOIPANDA Street and Art Street form a cross, dividing the city into east, south, northwest and 4 districts. At the intersection is the Glass Bead Auction House. Weapon Street, in the East District, this location. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 19 The Beauty of Weapon Street, Kuina's first battle. Leno and Kuina followed the map, entered the East District, and came to Arms Street. The relaxed atmosphere changes instantly. Pedestrians walking on the street, those carrying knives, holding guns, and showing off their muscular muscles, all of them were fierce and fierce-eyed. A few young people standing against the wall on the side of the street noticed the young Leno and Kuina, and their eyes intertwined. We're being watched. Leno walked with a smile on his face. Kuina glanced out of the corner of her eye, and a figure disappeared in the corner behind. How to do? Kuina is not only not nervous, but also a little excited. This is not training in a dojo. Rather, it could happen, a real battle. She is looking forward to it. Don't worry about it, someone will take action. Leno guessed that this group belonged to the organization that controls Weapon Street. Mixed in the streets, mostly petty theft. Since I and Kuina are both young and wearing DOSKOIPANDA's new clothes, they will naturally be targeted. The two walked forward for a while, and suddenly saw a sexy woman running in front of her, shouting, "Help." 2 fierce men came after her, shouting, "Stop." Leno smiled slightly. Coming. The woman seemed to be in a panic. Actually headed straight for Leno and Kuina. Pedestrians along the way looked like they were enjoying the show while avoiding it. Obviously, they were no strangers to such scenes. Kuina was kind-hearted and wanted to help, but was held back by Leno. Don't meddle in other people's business. Kindness is a virtue, but there will always be some people who take advantage of other people's kindness to do evil. So, Kuina, remember, don't abuse kindness. Kindness to bad people is to hurt the victim again. Kuina tilted her head, thought for a while, and responded, "Well, I remember." When leaving Shimotsuki Village, Koshiro told her to listen to Leno. The outside world is different from the dojo. There are good people and bad people. Of course, the uncle's knife also gave Kuina a great shock. Relatives will backstab, let alone outsiders. Seeing that Leno and Kuina were indifferent, the beautiful woman's eyes flashed with surprise. Young people are the most passionate. I like to meet injustice and draw my sword to help. In addition, the victim is such a beautiful woman as her. Many lecherous men, can't they just want to show their aura immediately? At that time, if she pretends to be pitiful, shows off her charm, and engages in ambiguity, she will make men feel their hearts out. Steal. She didn't bother to steal it. Too technical, no sense of accomplishment. Seeing that the fat sheep was not on the road, the woman did not give up. She called for help, poor, panicked, and ran towards Leno. Leno's eyes jumped. Big sister, I'm not happy to hit someone with the ball. Kuina was a little tangled just now. She has a good temper if she doesn't kick her. Leno turned sideways. The woman unexpectedly fell between Leno and Kuina, and fell into the mud. The two big men who were chasing after him froze for a moment, staying where they were, not knowing what to do. Ha ha ha. The passers-by who watched the show were startled, and then laughed. Interesting. Luel's routine was actually seen through. Luel, didn't you claim to be the most attractive woman on the island? You lost to a little guy. Luel stood up in embarrassment, glared at the laughing passers-by before looking at Leno and Kuina, and gritted her teeth. Hateful. It was the first time since she entered the industry that she was embarrassed. She was furious, and shouted, "What are you doing in a daze? Kill them." It is inevitable to make mistakes on the street. At this time, thugs need to come forward to solve the problem. The two big men immediately attacked Leno and Kuina, and the accomplices who were hiding in the dark also ran out. Leno's eyes swept away, and they were all minions. He folded his hands and said, "Leave it to you." Okay. Kuina greets the big man. She didn't draw the knife. First calmly dodge their grapples, kick one person flying sideways, and hit the other person's chest with the handle of the knife. In the blink of an eye, the two fell to the ground. She rushed to several other people, dodged around, and used all the results of years of training on these people. Seeing her companion being teased, Luel fell to the ground, her red lips parted, her beautiful face was full of horror. Not good, kick the iron plate. She rolled her eyes, stepped back, turned around and fled. This time it was a real escape. However, she was stopped by Leno before she could escape a few steps. Step aside. Luel kicked up her long legs, and a sharp blade popped out from the toe of her shoes. She was able to hang out on the streets not only because of her beauty. It's a pity that her strength is not as good as the cadres under Sig. In just one round, it was won by Leno. Have you heard? Luel fell. What? That woman is very good at picking prey and adapting to the situation. Who took care of her? It is said that she lost 6 million Baileys before she was able to get away. Glass Island. As the news spread, those in the gray and black areas were all unhappy. Hateful. Luel vomited blood angrily. What 6 million? She was blackmailed 10 million. A full 10 million Baileys. She managed to save up her savings. Boo boo boo. The voice of the phone bug rang. Luel took the microphone, and a heavy voice came from inside. Luel, is what they said true? Luel, who had an angry face just now, was cold and only fear remained. She forced a smile and said, "Boss, it was just a small miss. I promise, there will be no next time." No, what I'm talking about is not that you missed, but that you were publicly defeated and humiliated in the street. You know what it means. It means that you, me, and we have become a joke, and those guys who covet the Eastern District will feel that the opportunity has come. You should know the rules of the street. When you are on the street and decide to fight, you can't fail. Not only did you fail, but you also compensated the other party. Luel, you made an unforgivable mistake. Luel was frightened, and hurriedly said, "No, boss, please forgive me, give me another chance, I will definitely." Unfortunately, the other party hung up the phone bug returned to calm, Luel fell into the abyss, and she heard gunshots outside. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 20 Commodore's Strength Evaluation. Forging the Demon's Sword, the Gold of the Dragon. A casino in the Eastern District. In the office. A middle-aged man with a cigar in his mouth, wearing a white coat embroidered with black spiders, stood in front of the glass window, overlooking the East End. Crow. Boss. A young man in a suit and glasses pushes his glasses with his wrist. Anyone who dares to provoke us must be defeated, otherwise we will be the ones who fall. I will solve it. Very good. After you solve it, I will give you a boat and give you freedom. Crow bowed and turned around. There was coldness in the eyes of him and the middle-aged man. Arms Street. Leno, you said those people, will they still come? Kuina was carrying the cash box, looking around, vigilant in her heart. In her hand, there are 10 million Baileys. She is indeed not short of money. But it was the family's money, and Tien didn't feel sorry for the cub. And in the box is the money she and Leno earned, the first salary she got by herself. This meaning is different. Anyway, she was in a great mood and felt quite accomplished. Leno said with a smile. It will come, that woman is just in front of the stage, she can't control Weapon Street, there are still people behind the scenes. For those people, if they want to survive in the city, they must maintain their authority. Once the Lion King shows signs of fatigue, he will be replaced soon. They're not going to let it go. At that time, you can chop whatever you want. He came out this time with 2 tasks. One is to buy materials. The second is to let Kuina gain experience. So, Luel and the people behind her collided with each other. They thought they were hunters. As everyone knows, high-end hunters often appear as prey. What confidence does Leno have? Strength. Leno opens the system panel. Open black lens bracket host name. Leno close black lens bracket. Open black lens bracket real age. 17 years old close black lens bracket. Existing talents. King of Gluttony, Conqueror's Hockey, Observation Hockey, Armament Hockey, Kenshin, Yishinjian, Yufeng, Gambling Technique. Strength Evaluation. A worthy genius, can fight Commodore in the headquarters, possesses the posture of a demon king, the heart of swordsmanship, the unity of three elements, unlimited potential, but the real strong needs to be sharpened by blood and fire. Let's evolve, boy, unruly wind bless you, the future is yours. After half a year of training in Shimotsuki village, Leno's strength has improved rapidly, and he has mastered a variety of talents, which can be described as brilliant. Headquarters Commodore, that is also a general level. In East Blue, as long as he doesn't run into Garp, a bad old man who likes to go home often, he will run amok. In fact, his strength evaluation was affected by his lack of combat experience, so he didn't make it to the general level. Of course, Flag can't stand up randomly, keep a low profile, keep a low profile. Muramasa Knife Shop. Leno meets Kozuburo's friend, an old swordsmith named Muramasa. He was tall and thin, with all white hair, and he couldn't leave his mouth to smoke. There was a long and narrow scar on his cheek, which looked hideous. Muramasa took the letter and list from Leno. For a moment, he took a deep breath and let it out. In the smoke, he narrowed his eyes and looked at Leno, and said, "That fellow Kozuburo, is he serious?" "Huh, what's the matter?" Leno asked. Muramasa folded the letter, glanced at Kuina, and shook his head. "No, it's nothing. He has sealed the furnace for a long time. It is not so easy to forge another famous knife." Leno said. "That's why I came to Mr. Muramasa for help. Kozuburo said that you are not inferior to his swordsmith." Hee. Muramasa smiled and said. "He would never say that. Well, I will help you, who made me owe him a favor." "Thanks." Leno sincerely thanks. Muramasa took out the cigarette case and changed it. After taking a breath, he said again, "The materials on the list are not difficult to find. I know some friends, and I can get them together tomorrow. However, these materials can at most cast a sharp knife. I heard that there will be a piece of dragon gold in tonight's auction. If you have money, you can try it." Curious, Leno asked, "What is dragon gold?" Muramasa said. In ancient times, in the world, there was a race called dragon, which soared into the sky and could live for thousands of years. It is rumored that they will swallow various metals in order to better digest their food. Many metals will be corroded and broken in the acid of the dragon's stomach. But some metals, even the stomach juice of a dragon, are indelible and will fuse with each other to form a new metal. Combine the advantages of various metals into one body, and accompany dragon, for a lifetime until death, absorb the breath of the dragon, and gain spirituality. It is the gold of the dragon. The best material for making knives. Isn't this bioalloy? Leno thought to himself. He wondered, dragon gold is so precious, why did it come to the auction house on Glass Ball Island? Because no one can make knives out of it. Kuina said. I heard from my grandfather. Muramasa nodded. That's right, the dragon's gold also has another name, the Stone of Demon Calamity, and anyone who holds it will suffer disaster. Those who tried to use it to forge knives all died strangely. There is only one man named Gush who left 3 knives behind. Leno said without hesitation. Demon sword, Gush. Okay. It is said that in order to forge a knife, Gush sacrificed blood to his 3 sons. On the day the knife was made, he was killed by the knife he forged. How miserable. Leno said. No, you are wrong. The kitchen knife for beheading people was born to kill people, and the swordsmith forged it so that it could take as many lives as possible. Although Gush is an ominous blade, every master will die unexpectedly, but which swordsmith would not want to forge such a fierce weapon? Leno raised his eyebrows lightly, and from Muramasa's words, he heard a hint of madness. Could it be Muramasa himself, trying to cast a fierce soldier? After thinking about it, Leno shook his head and said, forget it, buy according to the list. People need to be content. So many people died for dragon's gold, it is simply unknown. Forging a knife, so as not to cast a curse and put Kozuburo's family in it, isn't that ungrateful? Okay, tomorrow afternoon, you go to the number 2 warehouse at the dock to pick up the goods. Muramasa didn't say anything more. Leno and Kuina thanked again and handed over part of the deposit to him. When planning to leave, a woman rushed into the door in a panic, saw Leno and Kuina, her eyes lit up, and she ran over in a panic. Help, someone is going to kill me. The store door was kicked open, and then 4 or 5 gunmen and swordsmen in black rushed in. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 21 Beiji Keluo, Zone Chong Chong Fruit Black Widow form. So, your boss thinks you're embarrassing him and wants to kill you. Arms Street. Outside the Muramasa knife shop. Kuina cleared out the miscellaneous soldiers and rescued Luel. With her experience not long ago, she didn't have a good impression of this woman with a hot body and a good face. It was Leno who asked her to do it, so she helped. Well, not only does he want to kill me, he also wants to kill you to maintain his rule. Luel said with lingering fear. Observation Hockey, owned by Leno, can hear her heartbeat, breathing, and know that she is not lying. Now, she is really being hunted down. Still have scrapes and bloodline. Leno needed someone to introduce his prey. Who is he? Black Spider Lewin. He is the leader of the spider gang that controls the Eastern District, demon fruit power, very strong. Luel didn't hesitate at all, and told Leno about Ruin's situation. Beside him is a man named Crow, who is the captain of the killer he trained. I guess Ruin will send him to take action. Leno said with interest. Why, is it us? You live here, you should have many friends, right? Friend. Luel laughed at herself. Those friends of mine are probably thinking about how to kill me, to curry favor with Lewin and get my territory. They dare not resist Ruin. Luel is not stupid. After she was abandoned and escaped from the stronghold, after thinking about it, she felt that only Leno and Kuina could deal with Lewin. We're all being targeted, and we're in the same situation. I have information on Ruin and I'm familiar with the Eastern District. So, cooperate. Kuina frowned and said, but, you lied to people on the street before, and we took money. No, little sister, the past is the past, and the present is the present. Enemies and friends can be changed. Luel can tell at a glance that Kuina has never experienced beatings from society, and her understanding of the world is still very simple. She actually likes such a little girl. Because he is kind, he is easy to deceive. You are wrong. You asked us for help, not cooperation. Leno cut her off. Luel was stunned. Leno smiled and said, we can still get out of here without you, but you can't live today without us. You need help more than us. You came to us to seek asylum. Don't make a mistake. Kuina nodded seriously. Leno was right. Why is this guy more difficult to deal with than Ruin? Luel complained in her heart, shook her head and said, no, I have information. Leno glanced at the killer lying on the ground, and said, they have it too. Your information is not the only one, but also them. Luel turned her head in the direction Leno pointed. When a group of thugs with knives and guns saw them, they shouted excitedly, accelerated their pace, and trotted. It's Wright's man, that drunkard. Luel cursed. She found that there were more than one group of people. 20 million Baileys. Leno said. Okay. Luel was puzzled. Leno held up 2 fingers. As long as 20 million Baileys, we will not only guarantee your safety, but also get rid of your boss Lewin. 20 million Baileys. Luel frowned. Why don't you go grab it? With a smile on his face, Leno said kindly, we are not pirates, how could we rob? Don't slander. Luel choked. Anyway, life or death, the choice is in your hands. Seeing that the enemy was getting closer, Luel stomped her feet angrily, and said, bastard, 20 million, just 20 million. Kuina couldn't help clicking her tongue when she heard what the two said. I admire Leno in my heart. Leno, Kuina, quickly finish off the first batch of enemies. Where is Ruin's base camp? It's boring to fight, just go directly to deal with the biggest boss. In that direction, there is a spider casino. Walk. Leno ignored the pursuers, and approached the spider casino with Kuina and Luel. Boo boo boo. In the alley, in the dark. Crow produced a small phone bug. Crow, the target is on Arms Street, 3rd lane. The phone bug yelled. That stinky woman, Luel, is also here. She betrayed us, and you will deal with them right away. Follow me, boss. Crow hung up the phone bug. Crow, what are you going to do? Chloe nudged his glasses. Lewin has already started to doubt me. Take this opportunity to kill him. I know where his money is. Crow's eyes were cold. When Ruin mentioned the ship, he realized that Ruin was going to kill him. That's it. How could he sacrifice his life for it again? Furthermore, he was by Lewin's side not because he was loyal, but because he coveted the savings in Lewin's safe. Cheater Crow, Black Cat Crow, Beige Crow. These are his labels. Go prepare the ship, we will leave immediately after we get it. Spider Casino. Located in the middle of the East District. It consists of 2 connected spherical buildings, with 4 entrances and exits on the left and right, making it look like a spider lying on the ground. In the first half, middle and low-end gamblers are received. In the second half, high-end gamblers are received. Thanks to the fashion attribute of Glass Ball Island, nobles and celebrities from all over the world come to receive the influence of art from time to time. The large number of customers made Ruin Spider Casino earn hundreds of millions. In the office, Ruin put down the phone bug, raised his eyes and said, are you sure it was Kay Luo who leaked the news about the munitions last time? Are you suspicious of Oiket's knights? The middle-aged knight in golden armor asked in an arrogant and contemptuous tone. A trace of dissatisfaction flashed in Ruin's eyes. Laugh. The sword light flashed. The western sword on the middle-aged knight's waist was unsheathed at some point and rested on Ruin's neck, making his expression slightly stiff. Lewin, don't forget, you used to be just a gambler who lost everything, it was my king who gave you a chance. Ruin lowered his head slightly. I will let Crow board your boat tonight and leave it to you to dispose of. That's right. The sword of the middle-aged knight was sheathed. Also, prepare me 10 million Bailey chips, it's rare to come out, I want to have a good time, ha ha ha. Boom. The ground shook suddenly. The middle-aged knight's laughter stopped abruptly. Looking in the direction of the explosion, he frowned and asked, what's going on? Ruin stood up, and found that the smoke and dust rolled up seemed to be in the direction of his own gate, and he was also a little confused. He closes his eyes. Under his feet, there are transparent silk threads, like a spider web, wrapping the entire spider casino. And Lewin is a spider on a spider's web, and the disturbances in the casino cannot escape his spider web perception. Zone Bug Fruit Black Widow Form. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 22 The Crooked Pirate Technology Tree, The Power of Spider Fruit. Junior Hao Si Deng Bao Da Kang Ju Dian Rakuten Travel HK, 553 Hong Kong dollars Rakuten Travel, Ri Ben Xing Ne Ling Xian Wang Shang Lu Xing Shi. Devil Fruit. Curse of the Sea. In the propaganda of the world government, it is evil, and many people in East Blue believe that it will bring evil. But for Ruin, it is a gift from God, the power to change his destiny. He used to be a gambler. In an accident, the loser went bankrupt and was chased for debts. In desperation, he met the king of Oikot and got a devil fruit. It was the power of devil fruit that changed his destiny. Spider web perception. Lowen used his fruit ability to weave spider webs all over the casino. No one can escape his eyes. He saw, outside the main gate, that there was a battle, which caused panic among the gamblers. How dare someone come to Spider Casino to make trouble? Ruin was instantly furious. He was holding back his anger and had nowhere to vent it. It's really courting death. Ruin yelled angrily, and kicked the glass of the floor-to-ceiling window. He jumped up and landed firmly in midair. Then he ran at an extremely fast speed, and each step landed on a transparent spider web, like a poisonous spider attacking. Behind him, the middle-aged knight thought for a while, jumped down from the 3-story office, and chased after him. Chi chi chi. Kuina's knife was flickering with cold light, and he raised the knife and dropped it, chopping up the guards pouring out of the casino. Luelle was not idle either, as she jumped with her long legs, 2 flintlock guns sprayed gunpowder, and greeted her vigorously. The explosion just now was caused by her using a rocket launcher, which directly blew up the gate of the casino, which was quite violent. And what about Leno? He's working on the bazooka that Luelle threw away. Guns, cannons, still true. This is quite attractive to Leno from Otherworld, who can only envy foreigners who shoot and play with guns every day. According to the instructions, he loaded the primer and put the shells on. Lift up, aim. Ruin, who flied in midair, has become half human, half spider, and his body hair can sense danger. A dangerous warning rose in his heart. Turning his head, he saw a fire in the distance. Then there was a boom. The shell flew out and hit him directly. Boom. There was an explosion in midair, a cloud of flames and black smoke. Next moment, Ruin rushed out in embarrassment, staring, a little dazed. What happened? Fired all of a sudden. Leno observed carefully. No obvious injuries could be seen on the opponent. He couldn't help shaking his head. The damage is too low, right? The flying speed and power of the cannonball are far from his cognition. I have to say that the technology tree of One Piece world is quite crooked. There are biochemical robots like Seraphim, spaceships that can go to the moon, bloodline factors that can change bloodlines, etc. Only in terms of firearms, it really pulls the hips. Although there are many types of it, including flintlock guns, machine guns, bazookas, artillery, etc., it is so powerful. Only the word, hee. It is not uncommon for Zoro to chop the cannonball with his knife and Luffy to bounce the bullet away. Leno was a little curious, if the bullets fired at Luffy were armor-piercing bullets, would they be able to pierce his rubber? Luelle, you are courting death. Ruin, who was in a daze, caught a glimpse of Luelle, and finally realized that they were the ones making trouble on Weapons Street. What about Crow? Why didn't he stop them? A trace of doubt flashed in Ruin's heart, but without any hesitation, he fell from midair and landed lightly. Boss. Seeing him, the casino boy, his morale was boosted. At this time, Lewin's lower body was a spider, and his upper body was a human, but he had black lines and 4 spider arms. Zone. Leno eyed him with interest. Devil Fruit is the biggest attraction in the first half of the Grand Line, but in the second half, it becomes the world of hockey. But it cannot be denied. A good Devil Fruit can greatly increase the upper limit of human potential. Logia, Zone, Paramesha, 3 kinds of fruit, each has its own advantages. Spider-Man. Kuina was very curious when she saw demon fruit power for the first time. Lewin, you seem to be in trouble. The middle-aged knight quietly jumped down from the tall building with an air of watching the show. He just finished speaking. Boom. He was kicked out by a spider leg and embedded in the wall. Shut up, guy, if you keep talking, I'll kill you. The transformed Ruin has a bad temper. His eyes were stained with blood, and he glared at Leno and the others, and said fiercely, I wanted to sell you to slave traders, but you are looking for death. His spider legs kicked off, and he was running towards Kuina at great speed. Spider lance stab. Laugh. Facing a power user she had never encountered before, Kuina did not confront her head-on, she jumped lightly to avoid the stabbing spider arm. The black spider arms are like spears, shining with metallic luster. It easily pierces rocks, and has black-purple venom that corrodes the ground and emits a disgusting stench. Lu En continued to chase, but the strong wind hit him behind him. He rolled his eyes and sideways away. A stone flew past. That's it. Want to hit him. Ruin disdained it, but his complacency lasted for less than a second, and the second stone hit him trickily. It was like, knowing how he would hide. Snapped. As if being shot, his spider shell shattered, fine cracks appeared, and blood flowed out. What? Ruin was shocked and cried out in pain. You know, he has become like a spider, with special compound eyes, speed, strength, and perception multiplied. The spider shell that wraps his body is even impenetrable to bullets. Now he was injured by a stone. Fear emerged in his heart, and he looked at the black-haired boy who was the instigator, with bloody compound eyes, staring out a murderous look. Kill him. He must be killed. Go to hell. Spider web attack. Ruin went berserk. The cobwebs of the casino seemed to be alive, hanging down one by one silk thread, and crazily rolled towards Leno. At the same time, his body was completely animalized, turning into a big black spider, quickly shuttled between the spider webs. Swipe. His afterimage jumped between the spider webs, and the dancing spider webs provided him with the best cover. Can't see me. Ruin grinned grimly. This trick came to him from observing the spiders hunting, and the entire casino was his lair. He is here. No one can beat him. Suddenly, he saw the black-haired boy shaking his lower body slightly, like a prey caught in a spider's web. Chance. Prey. Lowen rushed out, and the 4 spider lances howled, piercing towards Leno. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 23. Let's go with the blast cuts, Hassa. Go to hell. The big black spider shouted. The spider arm, dripping with venom, turned into a cold spear and rushed towards Leno. Dancing spider webs. Fall with ruin. Hundreds of silk threads, densely packed, trying to wrap Leno. The horrible picture is creepy. That guy is dead. Diagonally across the alley. Crow and his men were all watching the show. 2 dogs fight, play off. Crow gently pushed down his glasses with the palm of his hand. His face was calm, but fear flashed in his eyes. Did not expect. Ruin's strength is so strong. Fortunately, let these people wade through the muddy water for him. Devil fruit ability. If you have a chance, get one too. He glanced at it from the corner of his eye. Before the casino. Luel fought fiercely with all the minions. A girl with short hair and a knife confronts a middle-aged knight in golden armor. As for the black-haired boy surrounded by countless spider webs, he didn't pay any more attention to him, a man who must die. Right now, Ruin and the people in the casino are all restrained. Act. Crow led his men straight towards the back half of the casino. And just when Crow broke into the casino to loot. In the spider web, Leno's expression was normal, his body shook slightly, and every spider thread that fell through the shaking. Observation hockey. He looked at the killed Ruin. Is it just mastering the most basic power of devil fruit? Leno was a little disappointed. This spider fruit has high potential. However, those with abilities can't do it. Lack of calm analysis. Regardless of the timing of the battle or the way of handling it, it is very low level. Leno just deliberately sold a loophole, and then underestimated the enemy. How stupid. No wonder they can only hang out on the island and dare not go to sea. This kind of person is far worse than Luffy. Don't look at Luffy's carefree, heartless look. In fact, he is smart and calm enough, both in EQ and in battle. Every time he fights, he will never give up, but he will not give up. He will seize the opportunity to find and target the opponent's weaknesses. The most classic is the battle with K-Lock Doll, constantly dealing with the opponent, and finally winning. Are you scared, stupid? Die, die, die. Ruin laughed wildly. No one can escape his lair. The people caught in it are all his prey. Unfortunately, Leno pressed the handle of the knife and said calmly, 10 seconds, it's up, I'll send you to heaven. Clang. The knife popped out of the scabbard a little. Immediately, a gust of wind, combined with the knife, wrapped around the handle of the knife and around Leno's body, breaking all the falling spider threads. SS level talent. Yufeng. Leno's training in Shimotsuki village not only includes hockey, but also kendo. He is trying to combine the power of the wind and the power of the sword. Fine. He has a template for reference. What? Lu En, who had already arrived in front of Leno, saw the 4 spider spears that were about to pierce him, but suddenly froze. Body. Can't move. The whole body is stiff. Fear. All of a sudden it filled Ruin's heart. The young man in front of him seemed to have transformed into a fierce tiger, frightening everything. Leno drew his knife and unsheathed it. The wind rises with the knife and cuts forward. Let's go with the wind. Boom. The violent wind of the knife swirled out of thin air, and swept in the spider webs all over the sky, as well as ruin in front of him. Puff puff. The wind of the knife was fierce, and blood flowers bloomed. What? Ruin screamed in the wind. What happens? What's going on? It's Boss's voice. No one saw what happened in the spider web, but Ruin's miserable howl made people's heart palpitate, and his hair stood on end. The wind blew across the sky, shattering the cobwebs. Clatter. Footsteps sounded. Under the eyes of everyone, a black-haired boy stepped out of it, and he was unscathed. Huh, why? Is he all right? Could it be that? The fight in the casino has already alarmed people in the Eastern District, and many who watched the excitement are all dumbfounded now. After Leno walked out, his knife, just put into the scabbard, closed. Click. The surrounding whirlwind dissipated in an instant. In the spider webs blown into the sky, Luen's broken body fell behind him, a pool of blood, which was particularly dazzling. Hiss. Ruin, dead. Ah, how cruel. Who is he? He actually killed Ruin. The onlookers exclaimed and discussed heatedly. Great. Bet right. Win. Luel, who was dealing with the minions, burst into a smile. What? That guy was actually killed. The eyelids of the middle-aged knight who was fighting Kuina jumped wildly. Although he looked down on Ruin, Ruin's strength was recognized, and he was stronger than him after using devil fruit. Now, it has become a corpse. The middle-aged knight's heart trembled, and cold sweat broke out on his back. This distraction was slashed in the chest by Kuina, who has the talent of one-heart sword and has extremely high concentration. Laugh. His armor is not real gold, but plated with copper. Kuina didn't reach the iron-slashing realm, but her knife is He Dao Yi Wen, which is unparalleled in sharpness. The middle-aged knight groaned in pain and fell to the ground. Hush, hush. The whistle came. Leno turned his head and saw Marine, who was stationed on the island, running towards here with a gun in his hand. Catch them. Leno frowned. This Marine came very quickly. Could it be that behind the Spider Casino, the Marine on the island also has shares? Anyway, Leno doesn't want to clash with Marine and cause trouble for Shimotsuki village at the moment. He drew his knife and swung it forward. Wind slash. Call. A gust of wind picked up, blowing towards Marine. The people and Marines along the way all closed their eyes and staggered to and fro under the strong wind. Wait for the wind to stop. Leno, Kuina, and Luel have disappeared. Attack on the spider bar. Ruin was killed. The news spread all over Glass Ball Island, and countless people were shocked. Ruin is a local bully with cruel and vicious methods. The name of Black Spider can stop children from crying at night. Now, dead. At the same time, there was another news that spread widely. I heard that the Spider Casino was robbed and lost 100 million Baileys. It's more than that. At least 500 million Baileys. Obviously a billion Baileys. I heard that the Dragon Gold that was going to participate in the auction was also robbed. Ah, did those people do it? In the crowd, Crow, who had changed his outfit, pushed his glasses slightly. He watched Marine take control of the casino and collect Ruin's body, feeling a little unbelievable. That guy, what's the origin? Crow was curious. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 24B Level Talent. Spider Story. Observation Hockey Fusion Evolution. Junior Hao Si Deng Bao Da Kang Ju Dian Rakuten Travel HK. 553 Hong Kong dollars Rakuten Travel. Ri Ben Xing Ne Ling Xian Wang Shang Lu Xing Shi. Suddenly, white clouds floated across the sky, blocking the scorching sun in the sky. Predatory seabirds and gulls. In the deep blue sky, a crisp tweet was issued. Some of them fell into the sea like sharp arrows. Some landed on the mast deck, rested for a while, and soared again. This is the boat I bought secretly. Rest for a while. Coming to the boat, Luel let out a sigh of relief and opened the hatch. Where's Marine? Leno asked. Don't worry, there will be an auction tonight, and it's impossible for Marine to search extensively. Leno raised an eyebrow. Why? Kuina asked. The island's fashion committee, dominated by Doskoipanda, is the real owner of Glass Ball Island. Marine dare not offend them. Luel explained. The glass sphere is the fashion capital. At the monthly auction, big names gather. Marine's forced search will arouse the disgust of the guests, and even destroy the auction, causing bad influence. Leno said. Marine's military expenses, do you need them? That's about right. Luel said. Marine provides protection, shops on the island, contributes taxes, and some underground income. Come to the cabin, which is arranged like a residence, with a living room and a kitchen outside, a washroom and an inner room inside. On the bookshelf facing the sofa, there are 2 rows of books, mostly about animals and plants. The author is G. Rog. Leno was slightly surprised. He didn't ask much, and sat down on the sofa with Kuina. How about it? Seeing that her face was still flushed, Leno wanted to experience a fierce battle and escape, so that her adrenaline would soar. Kuina took a deep breath, reminiscing about the game and excitement of fighting, and said, "It's completely different from training. Even if I'm betting against Zoro, I don't feel that way." Leno nodded. He could understand what Kuina said. The first time he killed someone was in the bandit group, the feeling of blood racing was still fresh in his memory. The mentality of training and fighting is completely different. When training, don't worry about yourself, whether you will die or not. Fighting, but always be careful. Leno believes that after this trip, Kuina's kendo will improve. She was already on the edge of swordsman and swordsman. This is tea from the land of West Blue Flowers. Luel made 3 cups of tea and put them on the table. Leno reminded. Don't forget, you owe us 20 million Baileys. Luel's smile froze. This damn man. Didn't you see the beauty of my old lady? Only thinking about money. Luel said angrily. Understood, I'll get it. She turned to go into the house. Leno gave Kuina a look. With a tacit understanding, she followed Lu Wire. What? Don't believe me? Luel asked back. Leno picked up the teacup and said flatly, can you believe it? This kind of woman who wanders the streets has long been tempered by the years. She talks a lot, true and false, and whoever completely believes is mentally retarded. Luel gritted her teeth at Leno, wishing she could eat him, and said helplessly, I only have 13 million left. She really wanted to escape just now. Leno ignored Luel's pitiful eyes, took a sip of tea, and said, I still owe 7 million. Luel clenched her fists angrily. Chest rises and falls. Pretty rough. Take a deep breath. Forget it, I can't beat it. She resentfully went to get the money. Leno leaned against the sofa and checked the system prompts. Open black lens bracket ding. You defeated your opponent and scanned for talents. Spiderweb perception, B level, spider story, B level, gambling, C level, poison immunity, D level. 4 talents? Leno was suddenly taken aback. Ruin's fighting power doesn't match his talent. It seems that his exploration of his own talent is quite superficial. Please host choose one of the 4 talents, close black lens bracket choose one of 4? Leno frowned. Which one should he choose? Spider web perception. Leno thought of Lewin's temporary avoidance from the rocket launcher bombing, and he thought that Lewin would observation hockey. Looking at it now, it is the fruit effect of the spider web covering. Perception and observation hockey, the effects overlap. Moreover, Leno does not have a spider web, will the perception still work? It is the talent of spider story, Ruin didn't show it. But literally, it seems to be somewhat related to the spider language. Take a gamble? Bet. Leno's talent at this time is already quite outstanding, enough for him to dig for a while. He can still afford a B-level talent. Subsequent grades C and D are not considered. Open black lens bracket ding. Congratulations to host for copying Ruin's talent, spider story, close black lens bracket. Talent introduction. A small life has wisdom, you will be able to listen to the voice of the spider race and communicate with it. Seeing the talent introduction, Leno was happy. Listen to the voice of the spider? This is somewhat similar to listening to the voice of all things. The difference is, open black lens bracket spider story close black lens bracket only for the spider race. Open black lens bracket ding. It is detected that the host has similar talents, observation hockey, spider story, are they integrated and improved? Close black lens bracket. Oh, open black lens bracket spider story close black lens bracket, similar to observation hockey? Indeed. In terms of effect, it has the meaning of listening and perception, which belongs to the power of the spiritual level. Leno's current observation hockey is B level, it's like saying 2 similar B-level talents can be merged into A-level talents. Where is the difference in talent level, upper limit? The higher the level, the higher the upper limit, and the greater the potential that can be tapped. Leno's first fusion talent, Lord of Gluttony, is like this. Combine the 4 talents into one. The potential of every talent has been improved. The body of a monster, the heart of fearlessness, a big appetite, and a clever tongue, breaking through the original upper limit are one of the keys for Leno to become stronger quickly. Open black lens bracket Lord of Gluttony close black lens bracket lets Leno have a stronger body, more fearless courage, and a more attractive appearance. Of course, it doesn't mean that after the talent is integrated, it will be improved immediately. It has a gradual development and mining process. Just like devil fruit, after eating, you can gain stronger power, but if you want to get more, you need to be developed by capable people. Fusion. A mysterious light lit up on the system panel. Uzumaki emerges. 2 talents fell into Uzumaki. In a blink. Open black lens bracket ding. The fusion is successful. Congratulations to host for getting the talent. Observation hockey, level A, close black lens bracket. Talent introduction. The potential of the heart can sharpen one's 5 senses. It can listen to the sound of insects, detect the breath and emotional changes of surrounding creatures, and use it to predict and avoid danger. Close black lens bracket. Really, evolved. Leno was delighted. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge. Activity time, October 1st to October 7th. Chapter 25. Listen to the voice of insects and look for Beiji Kellogg. Observation Haki, Grade A. Leno could clearly feel that the new power was combined with his body. He closes his eyes. Calmly. What he can see is wider and more precise, and the sounds he hears are more detailed, mixed with many whispers. Many pictures and sounds rushed into my mind like a tide. For ordinary people, the spirit and will can't bear it, and they must have a splitting headache. For example, when Kebi awakened Observation Haki for the first time, he fell into a coma because he heard too many voices. Leno is also Shank's gifted Conqueror's Haki because of his Conqueror's Haki. Plus the fearless bonus brought by Lord of Gluttony. His will and spirit are stronger to bear. Leno understood more and more. The three kinds of Haki are not separated, they complement each other and are indispensable. The perception effect of a level Observation Haki has increased tenfold. Spider Story, fused with Observation Haki, not only increased the strength of his Observation Haki to the upper limit. It itself is no longer limited to spiders but insects. Leno heard that spiders are not bugs. But the world of pirates seems to be divided in this way. Who cares, anyway, the range of insects must be wider than that of spiders. Leno could distinguish the voices of those insects from all kinds of whispers. Mosquito. Wow, blood, I want blood. Fly, fly, buzz. Ant. Food, 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 find more food for the empire. All kinds of voices are monotonous and repetitive, and there is not much information. Most of them are related to food. They are all poor creatures living on the food and clothing line. Leno was just about to receive his supernatural powers. Have you heard? What happened to Ruin was done by Beiji Kellogg. Crow? The liar? Okay. Leno raised an eyebrow. He saw two crew members walking across the pier, holding wine bottles, shoulder to shoulder. Crow and his accomplices killed Lewin, ransacked the casino, robbed 1 billion Baileys, dragon gold, and were wanted by Marine. The crew walks away. Leno opened his eyes, a little dazed. Chloe? Isn't he Ruel's right-hand man, the captain of the killer team? Didn't Ruin kill himself? How did it become? What did Crow and his accomplices do? Wait. Crow's accomplice, isn't he talking about himself, Kuina, and Luel? Inexplicably became an accomplice? 100 counts? Leno suddenly reacted. That 25-year-old with glasses? Captain of the Black Cat Pirates? Leno squeezed his chin. He sorted things out quickly. The praying mantis caught the cicada, and Crow made the oriole, which made the most profit. This guy. Leno gritted his teeth, dared to feel that he was a worker, and he also had the notoriety of Crow's associate. No. Gotta get back on the field. Luel, who came out with the money, also screamed when she heard the news about Leno. Revenge, must be revenge, 1 billion Baileys. What do you see me doing? I'm not doing it for money, I'm doing it for justice. Leno thought deeply, and said, yes, we are for justice, but, where will he hide? He stared at Luel. I don't know him well. Luel hesitated slightly, and said, however, I know a few possible hiding places. She found a map of Glass Ball Island. Marked the places she thought Chloe would be hiding one by one. Leno shook his head and said, Crow is known as 100 tricks. If you can think of these, others can think of them, and he will think of them too. Is there such a place that you think is the most unlikely place to hide, and no one will search for it? Luel stared at the map, frowning. Suddenly, when she thought of something, her blue pupils widened, and she said, yes, Marine Base. Marine Base? Kuina was surprised. Isn't that self-inflicted? Luel pointed her fingertips at Marine Base and said, the year before last, Marine built a new base, and the old base was abandoned. Who's going to search Marine Base? The people on the entire Glass Ball Island went crazy after learning the amount of 1 billion Baileys. A large number of Gyuki snake gods rushed out, searching for Crow and his party everywhere, wanting to get his wealth. Seeing that the auction is coming soon, unrest on the island worries the Fashion Council. After talking to the colonel at Marine Base, Marine took to the streets to patrol the streets to maintain order. At dusk, quiet abandoned dock. Crow sat in a chair, read a book, and waited quietly. He is a very patient man. Suddenly, footsteps sounded. A strong man walked in with a dozen people. Got the boat? Crow asked. I got it, but... The strong man grinned, glanced greedily at the box at Crow's feet, and said, additional money is required. Crow closed the book, gently pushed the glasses with his palm, glanced coldly, and said in a cold voice, isn't the talk over? No, no, the previous price is not good now, people are looking for you everywhere, Marine follows martial law. 1 billion Baileys, and dragon's gold, who doesn't want it? So, 100 million, Crow sneered, looking at the people surrounding him, many of whom were his former younger brothers. Madness. The strong man snorted coldly, and said, people are not for themselves, heaven and earth will perish, Kellogg, don't force us to do it. Those who betrayed me, damn it, Crow was annoyed, and the veins on his forehead popped up. Kill him, 1 billion Baileys, it's ours, the brawny man shouted unceremoniously. Kill, are we late? Luel's face was ugly. Corpses all over the ground, blood stained the ground. The messy claw marks left a series of cut marks on the walls, ground, and corpses, and the stumps and arms were disgusting. Leno and Kuina felt uncomfortable in such a sheer field. "I'm going out first." Luel couldn't take it anymore and ran away. Seeing that Kuina resisted, Leno asked her to go out too. "This picture, I have seen too much. Nightmares have to be done for several nights." Leno endured the discomfort, observed carefully, and found something. He came to the door, and there was no sign of damage. Out of the corner of his eye he caught sight of a spider's web. Call. When he came outside, he took a deep breath, and the smell of blood lingered at the tip of his nose. Luel just finished vomiting, wiped her mouth, and felt ashamed to see Kuina and Leno's expressions were normal, with flushed cheeks. "Have you found anything?" "Yes, it's not that we're late, it's that they are fighting among themselves. If someone finds out, why is there no sign of a fight at the door?" Leno looked up. "The shipyard is part of the Marine's abandoned base. Crow, still hiding here." Luel frowned, and said, "It's getting dark soon, so it's hard to find." Leno stretched out his hand, holding a spider the size of a thumb, and said, "It's a witness, and it will lead us to find Chloe. Celebrate the 7-day-long holiday of National Day and enjoy reading books. Recharge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity time. October 1st to October 7th.